Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to another exciting, fun-filled episode of GWF.
It's the podcast you love to listen to. I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Welcome to our show. If you want to send us an email, it's sorryboutlastnightshow@gmail.com. Make sure you are subscribed to all our social media. We are on Instagram at guys without the you get it. And we're also on YouTube. Reminder. If you want to watch the whole show.
Fancy lights.
Yeah, it's we are on YouTube every single week. And I think this week we're going to start doing the episodes fully uploaded at once again. You know, we had the social media manager for the New York Times tell us to split it up into. I don't really think that was worthwhile. So we're going to save everyone some time and energy and just upload the whole thing on Friday mornings from here on out.
Okay, so today's subject line is, I fucking hate men, and that scares me. Hey, I've been a loyal fucker since 2013 and a Luminary subscriber, obvi. You genuinely helped shape me into the woman I am today, which is why I'm writing in. I need your take. I'm a 33-year-old girl from the South, an only child raised by a single mom who battled cancer and bipolar disorder my entire life. My dad was basically absent, living off his own chaotic life. When they told me they were separating when I was 6, I congratulated them and went back outside to ride my bike, which probably tells you everything. That was my first taste of abuse. I grew up fast. By the age of 6, I was cooking, cleaning, helping manage bills. Girl, 6? I haven't heard it that young. That's crazy. And taking care of my mom while she went through multiple rounds of melanoma and still worked full-time as a nurse. I never knew which version of her I was going to get, so I adapted. And home wasn't safe either. My mom had an abusive boyfriend when I was a teenager, and I watched him nearly kill her multiple times. I also walked in on her trying to take her own life twice. Both times, I was the one who found her and saved her. The one constant in my life was my grandmother. She was my guiding post. She taught me strength, independence, and to keep going no matter what. She also drilled into me to keep everything to myself, which I've clearly taken very seriously. So yeah, crying wasn't really an option. I was punished for showing emotion as a kid, and I learned to shut it down completely. To this day, I rarely cry. I'm strong to a fault. At the same time, I was class clown for 6 years straight, had tons of friends, and made sure no one ever felt alone. I was living a double life, darkness at home, light everywhere else. I've always been extremely loyal to a fault. When I love someone, I'm all in. I don't know where I learned that. I was born with it. My circle is small, but if I love you, I will do anything for you. I hear you, girl. In my early 20s, I met my first love. Let's call him Dave. It was 4 years of intense highs and devastating lows. Full-on love bombing before we even had a term for it. One day, he's filling a cabin with 500 daisies and talking about marrying me. Jesus Christ. Oh, that sounds nice. The next day, he's texting, I can't do this. What the fuck?
Anytime someone fills a room with flowers,
Something's
just
wrong.
leave.
Yeah, I've never had that happen to me, but yeah, especially with this hot and cold. My God, it was addictive chaos, and I didn't realize until later how much it rewired my brain. Also, your childhood. Looking back, it felt familiar. I never knew who I was going to get from my parent, same with my romantic partner. After the dust settled and I was able to pick myself up off the ground again, I got a new job, COVID happened, got the fake tits I always wanted. Good for you, girl. Then moved to a new city to get a fresh start. Dating around, having fun, keeping things surface level. The second I felt something real, I'd leave. I liked having control. Then I met, in quotes, Kirk. I almost didn't go out with him, but when I did, I was hooked immediately. I thought I met my husband that night, but pretty quickly it turned into the same hot and cold dynamic, except worse. And here's what messes with me. I stayed. For over 2.5 years, people stay a lot longer than that, so don't beat yourself up too much. I was loyal to him in a way I can't fully explain. Even when he cheated, insulted me, withheld affection, and tore me down. And just a side note, that's very common. It was very common.
I would also say though, it's like when all that stuff is happening, you're not just staying, you're going out of your way to stay. It's like, because it's like you're going against the tide of the ocean basically to stay in a situation like that. So I think that's of note.
He called me names, blamed me for his behavior, disappeared for days. It was emotional abuse, and I didn't even fully see it at the time. Me, the girl who advocates for women, the girl who knows better. I lost myself completely. My confidence, my identity, everything. I hit my lowest point at the start of 2025 and genuinely didn't want to be here anymore. But here's the part I hate admitting. I still miss him. I think I still love him in some weird fucked up way. And I beat myself up for that all the time because after everything he did to me, how could I possibly still feel this way? I think I just miss the idea of what he could have been, but my brain has a hard time separating the two. Over the past year, I focused on me for the first time ever. I started boxing, yes, with those fake titties, yes, girl. Traveling, taking myself on dates. Well, I've been doing that for a long time, but started back. Learning how to be kind to myself. That's my favorite one. I gained 25 pounds after all the Kirk shit settled, and I was really mean to myself at first, but I'm slowly starting to love my new curves. I got my independence back. But now here's the new problem. I feel like I've completely shut off my ability to love men. I have zero sex drive. I don't trust men. Honestly, I kind of hate them. Even the idea of dating again makes me feel guarded and exhausted. And that scared the shit out of me. But you don't have to date. Because deep down, I do want love. I want a partner, someone to cook with, laugh with, share life with in the evenings after a long day. But I'm terrified I'll either never feel that way again or I'll let someone in and end up back in the same cycle. I keep telling myself I'll trust my instincts next time, but what if I don't? What if I miss the red flags again? I know I don't need a man. I've proven that. But sometimes there's this quiet loneliness that creeps in, and I hate that I'm even questioning if I'll ever get this right. So I guess my question is, how do I come back from this? Does the trust and desire return, or did I shut that part of myself off for good? Also, on a completely different note, because I want to end this on something positive, it's never too late to change your life. I worked in corporate marketing for over a decade, and with the rise of AI, I started questioning everything about my job security. So I enrolled in trade school for plumbing while working full-time. I graduated in June, and I'm moving to a new city to start my apprenticeship. I just want to prove that it doesn't matter how old you are or what gender you are, you can do whatever you want if you set your mind and soul to it. Although I'm going to need a real alpha man to out-alpha me after this one. Love you guys. Please don't roast me too hard. This was big for me to share as someone who keeps everything in. And thanks for listening. And then she sent us another email, excuse me, right after that I want to read. I promise this is my only follow-up, but after sitting on my email, I realized I didn't fully explain the part that actually scares me the most. Maybe I did, and this is just repetitive at this point, but whatever. Before Kirk, I was extremely independent, confident, honestly very hypersexual. I loved men, loved dating, I loved sex. I had a very full, fun, and in-control relationship with all of it. And now I feel like the complete opposite person. That relationship didn't just hurt me, it fundamentally changed me. I feel like it rewired something in my brain. I don't trust men at all. I have zero sex drive, and I genuinely feel disgust or resentment where I used to feel excitement. And that's what's freaking me out.
A lot of that is, I feel like, aging. I feel like this is the natural progression that you see almost every woman go through if you're in a society where you're able to see the light. But we'll get into it in a second. But I mean, that's the first thought.
But I also wonder, like, if your sex life before Kirk, which was like, fun, hypersexual, was that a trauma response? And this is also a trauma response?
Yeah, I mean, anytime someone's saying hypersexual, I think there's there's some kind of an issue there. But
yeah.
it's also just like, were you in your 20s and now you're in your 30s? It also could just be that. It's like, yeah, like life is a little easier when you're in your 20s in some ways. Like emotionally, it's not easier, but like as far as physically, your day to day, it's easier.
Because I know who I was before. I know how much love I have to give, how open I was, how much I actually enjoyed connection, and now I feel shut off from all of it. I will also pause really quick before I finish reading the rest of this to say that sometimes the trauma response from certainly your relationship with Kirk, but also all that shit that you went through as a kid, having to be in charge of bills at 6 years old, that's insane. That's insane. You had a lot of challenges that you weren't ready for, that you took on and you excelled in, which is traumatic in and of itself. And I think that maybe now is when that pops up. That doesn't pop up right away, Sometimes it doesn't take it. I didn't fucking deal with my shit until I was 35. I'm 38. Just to give you a clue. And I'm somebody who really digs and digs and digs and tries to figure it out. I also don't think I fully conveyed how much that relationship broke me. I've been through a lot in my life, and I've always been able to power through. This is the only thing that has ever truly taken me down and stayed with me. Besides the loss of Nay, totally different playing field, losing her caused a piece of my soul to die with her. I don't know who Nay is.
Like your grandmother?
Oh, maybe. Right, because that was the person that you looked up to and were close to. Which is why it messes with me so much that I still miss him sometimes. It makes me question my own brain and my own judgments. Ugh, it's a terrible feeling. I know men suck. It's been the main storyline of this podcast for years. I knew based off listening to the podcast what to expect when I lost him, moved on with multiple 21-year-olds immediately, changed his entire look and personality to better fit in society, socially, goes out of his way to haunt me every few months, regardless of being totally blocked on everything. They always find a way. Over partying, losing any morals he had when I first met him. He's a nightmare, and I oftentimes regret ever going on that date. And I never regret things. I think he only dated me to be an accessory in his life at the time. I don't think he ever loved or respected me, and that kills me, especially how loyal I was to him. I don't let many people in. See, there we go. You didn't let many people in, so when someone disappoints you, it's huge for you. And I feel like I not only let him in, I allowed for him to use and abuse me as if it were okay. We live in a smaller town, and I still find myself avoiding areas to avoid running into him, which is part of the reason I'm moving. Good. I'm very glad you're moving. This town's too small for both of us, and I can't keep living in fear. I'd rather rip my eyeballs out than know what he's doing. We're still on the same phone plan. I know, dumb bitch. And he won't release my number. Okay, you're not a dumb bitch. He's abusive.
But also just get a new phone number. How many people do you possibly know? Justin Bieber even changes his phone number frequently. Like, just change your phone number.
I haven't changed my phone number ever. It sounds kind of nice, like a cleanse. T-Mobile will not let me off either. I've said, what if he hurts me or dies? And they said, I'll need to bring a police report or death certificate in to be released. What the fuck? Then cancel. Can you just... Yeah, that's crazy. Still trying to creatively think on that and how to be free from it. Lastly, I was running at the gym 2 months ago and he walked in. My heart dropped. He saw me and started walking my way, and the last thing I wanted to do was speak to him, so I threw up my middle fingers and kept looking forward and running. Nice. Everyone in the gym saw. He just put his head down and kept walking, then left 5 minutes later. I'm just ready to put this shit behind me and move forward in my life. I think what I'm really asking is, how do you trust yourself again after something like that? How does that version of you, the one who felt open, sexual, and excited about love, actually come back? Appreciate you guys more than you know. By the way, my mom did kick that guy out, rebuilt her relationship with me, ended up getting off majority of her medications and lost over 100 pounds. She's better and happier than ever, and our relationship is restored for anyone who is curious about it. That's beautiful. A loyal fucker.
All right. So the first thing I want to say is that I know your question is, how do you trust yourself again? But I think we first need to solve why you still miss this guy. And the overarching theme I saw in this email is, whether you're doing well or you're doing badly, everything in this email is how you're doing in relation to Kirk. And that's a problem, right? So, like, you know, you can even think of it like as like, but when people, I don't know if you want to, like, it's almost like when people discover Jesus and then everything in their life is like my life before Jesus Christ and my life after Jesus Christ. Like, if we want to give like a really known comparison, right? So you're kind of living life like life, BK before Kirk and life AK after Kirk. And what are you doing? So like the axis of your world is Kirk. And that's what the first thing that you need to undo. And to do that, I would think that you need to go to therapy, read a self-help book, whatever, to explore, meditate, go on a ketamine journey, and figure out what it is in Kirk that complemented negatively or positively, in this way, mostly negatively, something in yourself and, made you this different version of yourself. I also agree with Krystyna. I think this version of yourself was always in there. I think perhaps he just awakened it. If we want to talk about, like, we have our higher self and then our shadow self, like maybe he released your shadow self. Again, it's okay. So you're 33. I was like, how old are you? So, and again, like I also stand by my thought of like what you're explaining as how you used to be is just like kind of how everyone in their 20s is, because things are lighter and you haven't been hurt before. So it's easy to love, because it's easy to love and be open to love when you've never had your heart broken. That's just life. And now you've had your heart broken. And unfortunately, the first time you had your heart broken, it was really, really, really bad. And then so that changes then how every other relationship is going to go. That's why relationships in a lot of ways, like we learn more, we become more selective, but we also go into relationships as we age with more of a barrier up, because we now have this list of things to look out for that have hurt us in the past that we didn't have when we were in our 20s, when we were just kind of trying everything out, right? So a big portion of this is it's not like, oh, this is who I was. You were just a person in your, not to be rude, but like you were just like every other fucking person in your 20s.
Yeah. My mental breakdown didn't happen until I was in my 30s, and my 20s were great. Because I was like, la, 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 la. I just, the deep wounds that were always there just hadn't gotten touched yet.
Yeah. And it's not, and a lot of times, you know, the first thing to open up a wound is going to be a first really intense relationship.
Yep.
And so you're saying like, oh, I was this person who like advocated for myself. I did all these things. It's like, well, because you were living and it's very easy to advocate for yourself when no one else's opinion is there. And, you know, because you had parents who seemed to be pretty distant and you were acting as the parent, you didn't even have this foundation of having had to like listen to your parents when you were younger, because they were off dealing with their own shit. So the really only like voice you had was that of your grandmother. So there's just not a ton of guidance to go off of. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of always been doing your own thing because you unfortunately didn't have a stable foundation to start with. So yeah. So the first time you're latching on to someone other than your grandmother is this fucking psychopath.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're moving. So glad you're moving out of that town. I think that's going to really help. I think that your brain is giving Kirk all the power, like Corinne said, like everything, how you're doing is in relationship to him. And he's the one that unlocked this thing, or he made you like this. No, he maybe had a key to it. It sounds like he had a key to it. But I would say also get used to when he comes up in your brain, which he's going to come up so often over the next year or however long it takes for you to heal from him. Really talk back to those thoughts. Like every time you notice thinking of a memory of him or comparing yourself to your life now to your life with him or whatever, that's going to happen always. But now implement this thing where you start noticing when it happens. And then you go one step further and talk back to those thoughts. I think that's going to be, and that's a practice that takes years to kind of figure out. It is really, I would say when I was at my most depressed, which was for almost a year straight, the scariest thing that I felt was something you mentioned in your email. Like, is my brain broken? Do I have a bad pick? Like, I can't even pick anything for myself. You feel it's this crazy thing because as many insanely adult responsibilities that were thrusted on you as a child that you knocked out of the park, that you didn't deserve to have thrusted upon you. When you're older and a wound that wound gets tickled by somebody like him, and you really feel it for the first time, and you feel like, oh my God, my brain is broken. That's like that's the thought that made me closest to suicide, is like, oh, my brain just doesn't work. I'm pathetic. I'm a loser. I can't do anything. And I was feeling that for a year straight. And so really be gentle with yourself when those thoughts come up of like, is my brain broken? Is my brain broken? Talk back to that as well. It's very important. I think for the next year, I would concentrate on just having a gentle time with yourself, letting your inner child out, literally coloring, to get a coloring book and use markers or start painting. I've been like painting and drawing lately, and it's really like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but you figure it out. Just allowing yourself to explore with yourself with kind of no timeline, and just take a break. Definitely therapy would be awesome. But just realize too, when all these thoughts are coming up, you're not the one having those thoughts. You're the one observing those thoughts. So who you are and like the seat of your soul, that's another author, but I'm getting out of Michael Singer thing here. You're the person who notices your neurotic mind. So that means you cannot be your neurotic mind, even though it feels that way. It's like when a parent does something to us as a child or as an adult, it's such a difficult journey to realize that it really isn't personal. She would have done that to any daughter she had. She had a son, she might have done that to that same kid. So it's just like this depersonalizing from your own thoughts, I think is really helpful.
Yeah, and then another thing that I'm noticing reading back your email, sitting here is you're putting all this weight on the relationship with Kirk, but let's go back to this relationship with Dave that you kind of glossed over. You're like, oh, I met my first love.
Dave sucked too.
Yeah, it was the same exact pattern. You were with Dave for even longer. You were with Dave for 4 years.
Yeah, I think when Kirk finally broke your heart, you really had enough and you freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, and so it's the same pattern. We look at the words, it's like you were hooked immediately is how you describe Kirk. You describe Dave as it was addictive chaos. So there's also an addictive nature to, I don't know if you are an addict in any other ways. You also might benefit from what's the love addict? What's the call, like the in the Al-Anon family of like sex love addiction? What's that one called?
I don't know.
There's in like the Al-Anon like family of different addictions and meetings that you can have. There's like one that's like a sex love addiction. Basically, I don't believe in sex addiction, but the love addiction part I think might be beneficial to you. And those meetings are free, right? You just show up at like a church or something.
And a lot of times they do it over Zoom. Although I do you're in a small area, so maybe Zoom is your best bet.
Right, and so that might be really helpful to you because I think hearing other people's stories might be helpful because you talk about like you've been extremely loyal to a fault, and like that can be a lovely quality, but it can also be a quality that when you're doing it, especially in relationship to straight men, it's not going to serve you. We see so many. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what you need to learn. It's great that you are such a loyal friend and that you really go to bat for people. I think that's a lovely quality, and I would never encourage you to get rid of that. That being said, you need to recognize love that is worthy of being reciprocated, and that not everyone is worthy of your love. You also need to, you're using the word love a lot here. None of the behaviors you're describing are love. So yeah. I don't want to say like, I don't think that you were in love, but I think you need to learn what love is and feel what a true love feels like. And then you might look back on your past relationships and go, I don't know that was really love. That was love, maybe. That was the kind of love that you were able to give and receive at that time where you were in life. But moving forward, what I hope for you is that you will be able to define love in a new, much more complex way that is a lot more reciprocal, because there's no reciprocity here at all.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because when you say you miss Kirk, I think that's the wrong word too. You don't miss him.
It's like that addictness.
Yeah. Well, it's that I quoted this guy who did a big think piece on the psychology of romantic love, and how sometimes, like Corinne, you've talked about, like the motivation to have a child sometimes is fueled by the fact that you didn't have a good childhood and you want to give this new child a great life. And that's really potent.
Yeah.
Same with love, or love in quotes. Sometimes we want to be with a specific person because we have an opportunity to right a wrong that was carried out by our parents. And that, let me tell you, I've been addicted to drugs, people, food, like activity. I've been addicted to so many things. That particular addiction, finding somebody that kind of mimics the same wound and going, I'm going to fucking figure it out this time with adult sensibilities. I've never experienced, and I have never done crack. I've heard it's very addictive, but like I've never experienced anything that addictive. Trying to fix it.
And that's exactly what she's saying. She's right here. She says, looking back, it felt familiar. I never knew who I was going to get from my parent. Yeah. Same went with my romantic partner, right? Yeah. So you're acknowledging that you're replicating this same pattern that you grew up with in childhood, right? And so, like, I know it's harder to, because even though you grew up with your grandmother, your parents are still your parents, so it's a little bit harder, but it's like maybe we can look for someone who gives you more of the stability of grandma and less of the chaoticness of mom and dad.
Super cool that your mom and that your mom's like leveled out. That's so, you're very lucky that's happened. And I feel like there's potentially, I would see a therapist about this first and find a therapist that's good, because your first choice might not be the right fit. So just please know that. Possibly after you work with a therapist, build a sense of trust with that therapist. Potentially explore like having communications with your mom about like, hey, because I don't know where your mom's at exactly, but a lot of people don't get what I look at as a Cinderella story in terms of like your mom just churned her life around and adjusted herself and healed herself. That's really rare and that's beautiful. So I wonder too if like you're giving Kirk all this power, but that's not the person. You're labeling the epicenter of this debacle as Kirk, but the epicenter is your inner child. So I don't know. I think a therapist could potentially help facilitate healing conversations with you and your mom.
Yeah, you can go to that'd be huge, a lot of people go to couples, like basically couples therapy with their mom, because you're getting this wonderful second chance with your mom. I think that is really special and really rare. And like exactly like Krystyna said, like, so you're going into these relationships. It seems quite, pretty obvious that you're like trying to heal the relationship that you had with your parents, because both these Dave and Kirk relationships are emulating the same dynamic. And you talk also a lot in this email. I noticed you talk a lot about having control, having, I got it all under control. You don't, and that's fine. Most of us don't. It's hard in the human experience to have control. It's pretty much impossible to have control. But I think you are going to keep replicating this because I think it almost gives you purpose to be like, no, I am going to go into this relationship with someone who is hot and cold, and I am going to eventually, with one of these people, control the situation enough that they keep showing up for me. And that's giving me purpose, that I'm gonna fix one of these people, because that's gonna heal your relationship with your mom and dad. And you're never gonna be able to fix any of these people, because it's also not your job to fix your romantic partners. And the only way, to heal your relationship with your parents is like to do work with yourself, or, just literally do the work with the person who did the original damage.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick opportunity, I gotta be honest.
Yeah. And just like, you should ban yourself. Like, honestly, I would ban myself from talking about Kirk if I were you.
Yeah.
You just gotta.
Yeah.
Just like you got to do 30 days of like, no, I wouldn't even say 30 days of no Kirk, because that's still having your life revolve around Kirk.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to, I think it is cool that you're moving, but even that,
just decenter men in general. Think of it about that.
Yeah,
just
like
for a
you're
bit.
moving now because of Kirk. It's like, all right, well, bill Kirk for all this shit.
Yeah, right. Send him your invoices.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear us other places. Did you know that? Well, Corinne, you can hear Corinne other places.
Hi, you can hear me on Without a Country. I live stream Wednesdays, around 7, between 7 and 8. We'll get started whenever all the technology starts working. But it's on YouTube every Wednesday, about 7 p.m. Eastern time. And you can watch the playback immediately if that time doesn't work for you. On YouTube, the playback is immediately available. And then usually by late that night or the next morning, the audio will be available everywhere you listen to podcasts. On Without a Country, we go through all the top news stories of the week, but I also do a lot of things that fell under the radar. We do a lot of domestic violence stories, a lot of animal welfare stories. It's just a really great way to, if you like me, to sit with me and we can kind of tear through this news together, because always a lot going on. Always a lot going on.
Like what?
A lot going on, yeah.
And speaking of a lot going on, man, come to Scotland in August. Why not, right? Because August 5th through the 31st, I am premiering the world premiere of my debut one-woman show. Congrats on not killing yourself. And God damn it, do I mean that sentiment. I used to have a solo podcast called The Voices in Our Heads, which you could still listen to. I've actually been listening back to it just in case I said any gems that I need to write down. And I always opened it with saying, congrats on not killing yourself.
It's a mantra.
Yeah, it really is, and it's like fun to give yourself credit for not committing suicide. Honestly, it's like whimsical a little bit if you're a little darker, if you're a dark girly, in terms of like your where you go in your head. But yeah, I'm really proud of the show, and it's going to be happening at Gilded Balloon, which is a really cool theater company in Scotland. It's a part of the Edinburgh Fringe Fest. And yeah, I'm going to be performing every single evening at 6:40 p.m. At the Bothie venue, Bothie, every day from the 5th through the 31st of August, except for the 18th. We get one day off. So yeah, please, tickets are available right now. You can click the link in my Instagram bio at Krystyna Hutch if you're interested in purchasing them. And I also have T-shirts available on my website. The show, doing an Edinburgh Fringe show is a huge learning experience in every possible way, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very expensive, and it makes me go, fuck, I hope like people are giving away, like if I'm ever like a multimillionaire, I want to do a scholarship for someone to like do these festivals, because I am laying down $25,000 for this. And I'm like, fuck, there's so many incredible artists in the world that don't have that money, that deserve that opportunity. So I really appreciate you being a Luminaire subscriber, so I have the ability to do the show.
Send it to a rich friend. Send it to that rich guy you're fucking, who's never going to do anything for you, but maybe he can buy a t-shirt for you
that says "Congrats on not killing yourself." I mean, and I'm pretty sure the Fox News "Kidnap My Parents" t-shirt is also still available on my website. It's KrystynaHutchinson.com. Yeah, that's just a way that you could support the show in Edinburgh and buy tickets if you're going to be in Scotland. I highly recommend it. And yeah, see you there.
Amazing. Speaking of t-shirts, guys, we're going to get into something heavier, but I wanted to just talk about this briefly before we get into that, because we need a little joy in our lives. And as you can see, I am wearing my Lewis Capaldi shirt because it finally happened. Obviously, Lewis Capaldi has had some mental health struggles. He has Tourette's that was flaring up really, really badly when he last went on break from performing. So this was many, 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 many years in the making. You remember several birthdays of mine ago, Lewis Capaldi did a duet or a reaction on a TikTok video from the Hannah Berner episode. And I do feel like, even I don't really believe in signs anymore, I do believe it was a sign that Lewis Capaldi did that on my birthday.
It's pretty specific.
That's what a sign is. I selectively believe in signs when they work for me, and that's really what religion's all about anyway. Yeah. And so, so it was so great. I was so proud of him. I feel this intense pride for the artists that I love when they achieve milestones in their career. And I really, really, really felt this for Lewis Capaldi, because this was his first time headlining Madison Square Garden. He sold it out. And also knowing just like all the things that he has had to get through to be there. He was also struggling with his voice, and he had done a show in Philadelphia the night before, and he talked to the audience and he was like, my voice isn't at 100% capacity, and I really let it get me down last night in Philadelphia. But when I woke up this morning in New York, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna like have fun. I'm going to just do the best with it. And everyone was so supportive. And God, I mean, this guy's voice is so fucking good.
It's gorgeous.
Is he Scottish? Yes.
Okay.
His voice is, you can barely, he's great. When he talks, I'm like, I really don't even know what you're saying. His documentary.
That's a tough one.
His documentary, I had to turn on captions because I was like, I don't exactly know what you're saying. And he's so funny that you don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
That's why I love Lewis Capaldi, because I knew going into it that I was going to get a concert and a stand-up show. And I 100% did get both of those things. I also knew that he was going to come out looking disheveled, and he did. I mean, there's something about a man who doesn't iron his shirt for his show at Madison Square Garden that really speaks to me. He was doing full Tim Dillon. Full Tim Dillon doing a Netflix special.
Sweat stains on the tits.
Unironed clothing. Yeah. And I said, I love that for you.
That's great.
So he came out. Yeah, I mean, he had a nice watch on. Other than that, his whole outfit looked like it cost about $50. And that's like what I just love Lewis Capaldi so much because of that. He was so funny. It's great because his audience is obviously like, there was a lot of men there, I will say. but obviously a lot of like girly girls who, you know, who are just like dreamy eyed looking at him. And then he's making these dark jokes and he's kind of bombing because his sense of humor does not work for the same people
tween.
who like his music. Like they weren't super young, but they were, you know, they're just not, you know, if you're coming to listen to a ballad about how your life is over if this person isn't going to call you back, you probably don't also like every other joke to be about taking your own life. But I do. I actually do like both of those things. So this is really the perfect thing for me. I was just so proud of him. He had this beautiful screens up before about supporting local venues. And it was like, you know, if we hadn't have played Rockwood, and he just called it Rockwood. I'm guessing he's referring to Rockwood Music Hall, though, which now is closed and has been closed for a little bit. And, you know, I know, so it was like a nice message about supporting local venues. He was just so appreciative of like, you know, being able to perform at Madison Square Garden. And this truly is like, this is like the moment, if you are a musical artist, that you are working towards. You are working towards selling out Madison Square Garden. And that is that.
Oh, that energy in that room was probably beautiful.
It was great. We were all singing along. I was so close to the stage because I was standing room Madison Square Garden, which is just like the best. Get really, really close to the stage. I even saw myself. I was so close that I was able to see myself when they like shot camera footage of the audience.
That's awesome.
It was great. I kind of wanted to go alone, but my boyfriend really does like Louis Capaldi like a lot.
So annoying.
Like it was even like a bit on you know, something that he was with his friends, that like there was one of his songs was like a recurring song in his life. So I was like, I guess I can allow you to come, but I was like, I said if you're annoying me, I'm going to step away, and I have the freedom to do that in a general admission space.
True.
But no, it was nice. And then he did say that Louis Capaldi could be my hall pass. And then
yay! Because Louis Capaldi knows who you are.
I don't know that he knows who I am.
Yeah, he wants to fuck you.
But what I very, very quickly did is I was like, a guy this funny has to like stand-up comedian. So I immediately look at who he's following. And I am in two ways 1 degree of separation from Louis Capaldi.
Really?
So I looked who he's following. He's following Krystyna and Shane Gillis.
Oh, easy peasy.
So I was like, this is easy. Both of these people are a text away.
Yeah.
So I started by texting Krystyna, and this was after I had already attended the concert that I thought to do this. And I was like, yo, were you at MSG? Because Chris and I actually, we have very similar music tastes. We're always running into each other at concerts.
Really?
This is a me and Chris Stefano thing. And so I was like, yo, like, are you like friends or are you a fan? And he's like, yeah, you know, we've DM'd. Sorry, Chris, if I'm blowing up your spot.
Cool.
But like, yeah. So I was like, I just let him know. I was like, you gotta put out into the world what you want. And I was like, Chris, I am a huge fan. We need, if there's ever a time when you guys are together,
please invite Corinne.
And Shane Gillis, I mean, is like a god, especially to like Louis is like 28 years old to like 28-year-old men.
Yeah.
You know, it made me feel a little bit better that he's also a Chris Stefano fan, because if he was only a Shane Gillis fan, I'd be like, now we're treading into territory. Although I like Shane very much, and I think Shane is very funny. If there's only one comedian you're following and it's Shane Gillis, this could possibly be problematic. But I wasn't surprised though. This aligns with like the Louis Capaldi we know. But it just got me excited, and I was like, ugh, we're gonna have to make this work.
Wait, what if he's in Scotland? Does he live in Scotland?
I think he still lives in Scotland.
Let's find his goddamn house when I'm in Edinburgh.
Because I think it's like,
I tell him I know Billy Connolly.
I think he still has a lot of like. I think he still, based on his sense of humor, has a lot of self-hatred. So this is not a person that at this point in my life
I see.
that I would feel comfortable
Gotcha.
dating, you know? I think that's a journey I've already been through several times, and I'm not willing to embark on again.
Sure.
But man, Louis, I love you.
Louis,
you're so talented.
I
hope you're doing well. I hope you love yourself, and you're spending some boy time, because he's out of that relationship now.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, was he married? What's his deal?
No, he was he was dating a model, Elle McDowell, who well, I was making so many videos. We talked about this on the show. I was making so many videos about Louis Capaldi. I think like during like right after COVID that his girlfriend started watching my Instagram stories, and that's how I knew I had to cut back.
Right, I do remember that.
Because if you're doing so much that the girlfriend is clued in,
who the fuck is this bitch?
And is like, stay off my boyfriend's cock. I was like, I said, heard.
Copy that. Sorry, madam.
I said that was too much, and that's on me. And so I
Live
chilled
and we
out.
learn.
And also, I think it's hard if you're not familiar with like erratic female comedian behavior. I'm like,
Yeah.
Obviously, there's truth in comedy, and there's a lot of truth in like me being obsessed with Louis Capaldi, but also in the real world, I'm absolutely not going to act like that about a man.
Yeah, right.
She doesn't know that though. She only knows the persona that I'm putting forth to the world.
Sure.
So I was like, just for you, I don't want, I hope you guys had a very nice relationship and that it all worked out for you and that you
learned a lot about yourself.
Parted on good terms. Of course, they gave
He's probably swimming in puss.
The reasoning that they gave was like, schedules. Yeah, well, when you have the voice of an angel and then you're also hilarious.
His voice is...
You're going to be drowning in puss.
I remember when you first told me who he was, I was like, Louis, so familiar. And I had a couple of his songs on my playlist of like, I'm going to like Feel Your Feelings playlist because his voice really makes you feel, man.
It's so good.
And I love a man with a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah, and he has a whole song about the day that he basically was planning on killing himself.
Oh, hell. Oh, that's my speed. He would love my one-woman show. You're invited for free.
He just sits at the piano and he's like, "No, here's the song about the day where I thought about killing myself."
Oh my! I'm gonna fucking add that to my fucking playlist right now.
I fucking love this guy. It's like called like Death Day or something.
Someone You Loved. That song is crazy.
Yeah.
That song is absolutely devastating.
Yeah, he's just
he's good. He's really good.
He's so talented, and then it's hilarious. He comes out. He's like, "I hope you like ballads," because like that. He literally only has one song that is not a ballad.
Wow.
It is. It's just a very.
It's amazing.
It was just a very, very special day, and I hope that I feel like when you have famous friends, you can really get one favor at them, and I'm 100% Shane Gillis. I know you're not watching this, but
but what if you are? That's kind of weird.
Shane Gillis, my one famous friend ask I'm going to have for you is, please.
Use that Budweiser money.
Bring me in a room with Louis Capaldi, because the thing is, like,
what if we have a party for Shane Gillis?
Why would we have a party for Shane?
Whenever his fucking birthday is. We throw Shane Gillis' birthday party. In exchange, he invites Louis Capaldi.
Weird.
And the party is just me, you, Louis, and Shane, and then Shane and I will leave.
Oh my God.
It's kind of fun.
I don't know, because I feel like it's like no skin off Shane's back. Shane doesn't want to fuck Louis Capaldi.
That we know of.
If
he did, I'd honestly respect you a lot.
That's true.
To be honest, if you revealed you had a crush on him, I'd be like,
Shane, if you have feelings for Louis Capaldi, we support that, and and you have a safe space to talk about those feelings on GWF. You know that.
Yeah, come back and get our YouTube numbers back up, please.
But yeah, oh my God,
that's cool. That's awesome. Concerts are incredible. They're what? And an MSG concert. You got Before You Die, guys. I highly recommend it. Yo, when I saw Rage Against the Machine at MSG. That was one of the best experiences of my fucking life in terms of like musical experiences. Mm-hmm. Obviously Beyonce's before that, but like that, yeah, room full of an MSG crowd that's sold out, especially an artist that's rising, that like accomplished this huge thing for the first time.
Yeah, last time he was in New York, I believe he went from Radio City Music Hall to MSG.
It's huge.
I mean, that's like incredible jump.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Incredible jump. It's called The Day That I Die is the Suicide song.
Can't wait to listen to that.
It's from his
it's my life anthem.
Yeah, okay. It's from his album Survive.
Of course it is. Love an emotional king.
It's so funny.
Love an emotional king.
Well, and I mean, obviously, it doesn't take a therapist to identify that his hilarious sense of humor is him, not fully tackling all the feelings that he's feeling.
Yeah.
But I think he has. He claimed that he was happier than he's ever been. So I hope that's true, and I hope he was able to fully be present and enjoy the moment because he deserves it.
Yes, he does. He's a man. Louis Capaldi could survive the matriarchy.
Yeah,
I would say.
I hope. I don't know. He does give me. Louis Capaldi does give me the energy of someone who you're not going to have great things to say after you wake up.
Well, your instincts are always just good.
Well, so. I mean, because there is what's the song? The song that sometimes his titles don't match what he's saying in the song. So
Sick.
I like forget it, but I mean the one Forget Me. So Forget Me, I love this song because it really resonates with me. It's basically like, I don't care if you hate me, just never stop thinking about me, and that's how you know that someone's slightly unhealed. You know?
Yeah, but you also feel that, and you're not unhealed.
I mean, that's not right. that part.
Guess so.
Not completely.
Doesn't fuck up your life, though.
No, I mean, just hoping that every ex I have is losing sleep about me overnight. That
It's a very you thing to think.
something is wrong there. And Louis Capaldi and I share that ailment.
That's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You have great trauma bond.
I just love Louis Capaldi so much. It was such a, and then when you go to a concert, it just like awakens any crush that you have on a person.
Oh my God. Incubus.
Yeah.
Oh, I fell in love with the chick bass player. So hot. One of the sexiest women I've ever seen in my life. She's just so hot. She's such a good bass player. But I like Brandon Boyd. Oh, I'll do whatever you want. Any hole. Now let's switch gears.
No.
Very much so.
To something where all holes are off limits.
Yep.
You guys are bad.
Yep. A lot of bad boys out there. And
I do have some good news about this though, but go ahead. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not shocked by this. Mm-hmm. I am, but it is so goddamn bleak. And I'm glad that, we're living in a point in society where it feels like the world's collapsing. And I think part of it is. But I think what's really happening is we're shining a light on the darkness that has gone light-free for quite some time. And the internet connecting us all together obviously has highs and lows. This is a low. So this is the CNN article about the Rape Academy. The world was confronted by this form of internet-enabled abuse in 2024 during the mass rape and drugging trial of Dominique Pellicot and 50 other men in southern France. It was on a so-called dating website in a chat room called Without Her Knowledge that Pellicot was able to connect with dozens of men to instigate the rapes of his then-wife, Giselle. While drugged unconscious by him, she was raped over 200 times by 70 men, not all of whom could be tracked down by the police. The Pellicot case briefly shone a spotlight on this dark corner of the internet. But while Coco, the website involved, was shut down and public attention moved elsewhere, this behavior did not disappear. A months-long CNN as equals investigation has uncovered a hidden online world where the commodification and amplification of sexual violence against women is flourishing. One porn site, motherless.com, is home to more than 20,000 videos of so-called sleep content uploaded by users with hundreds of thousands of views. The website, which had around 62 million visits in February alone and whose core audience is the United States, describes itself as a moral-free file host where anything legal is hosted forever. The legality of some material posted is in serious doubt. So-called sleep content is categorized using descriptive tags such as hashtag passed out, hashtag eye check. And if you don't know what that is, that's when the guy who drugged the woman that he's about to rape lifts up her eyelid and then lets it go to assure that, yes, she is indeed sleeping. In these videos, men film themselves lifting the closed eyelids of women to show they're sleeping or sedated, with some eye check videos surpassing 50,000 views. Inside the motherless sleep community, first reported by German investigative journalists Isabel Beer and Isabel Straw, members trade advice on how to drug their partners. On the ZZZ chat group, which a motherless user had linked to and where we first met... How do you say that name?
It's Peter. Yeah, because I asked the same question when I was reading the article.
Yeah, Peter. They do the same. CNN is not providing the names and doses of the specific medicines the users said they employ. So here's one message. User 1, been wanting to do this to my missus for ages. I can get blank, but honestly, shit scared of overdose. User number 2 replies, always start low. You're thinking long game. So if first time ain't enough, up the dose. And then a third guy says, blank millimeters in a milkshake. She felt nauseous, so gave her a tablet of Imodium, but it was actually a drug that's blacked out. Did fuck her well, but she was not out enough and had no more blank, and I had no more blank on me. One motherless user claimed to be running a business selling and dispatching sleeping liquids to any address in the world. The man who said he was based in Ceuta? Ceuta? Sorry about not pronouncing that right. A tiny Spanish exclave on the North African coast, said on his Telegram account that it would cost 150 euros, approximately 175 bucks, for a bottle of the liquid that he said was tasteless and odorless. Quote, your wife won't feel anything and won't remember anything, he said. While the platforms vary, inside such groups, video is king. Some users advertise live streams showing the abused, drugged woman in real time for $20 per viewer. with cryptocurrency the preferred means of payment. And then here's a screenshot. The CNN investigative journalist said, how were your streams going? Obviously, they're undercover. Making any money? The user said, yeah, it went well. That night, 3 guys bought, and I streamed my unconscious wife to them. CNN reporter says, and did they direct you? The user says, they told me what to do, and I did it. Another user said he was based in West Africa, shared a clip from a previous live stream. He said he'd done to entice us to his next. In it, a woman who he said was his sleeping wife could be heard snoring as he climbs on top of her. Then the clip ends. In Poland, the woman Peter said was his wife also appears to be unaware of what is happening to her. Men in these groups operate shielded by the anonymity of the internet, but they also find a sense of community and perverse camaraderie, as they normalize abuse. For months, Peter spoke openly with us and even shared what he said was his address. So Peter says in this screenshot of a chat, 2 sleeping tablets should be enough, plus some drinks. Even 1 is enough if there's more alcohol. CNN reporter says, does your wife suspect anything? And Peter says, for now, I'm hiding everything well, but I have to be careful. But when it came to meeting face to face, he resisted. He wanted to confirm he was who he said he was, so we wanted to confirm that, so we traveled to his hometown in Poland. CNN found Peter and his wife at a local restaurant. Uncertain how he might react and unwilling to put her in danger, we chose not to confront him, instead reaching out to the police about our findings. Peter is just one actor in a vast global network, his wife likely among many unaware victims. But some survivors know. When Zoe Watts learned that her husband of 16 years had been crushing her son's sleeping medicine into her tea and raping her while she was passed out, it shattered her world. Quote, we worry about who's coming behind us walking down the street or who's even friending us on Facebook. We worry about going to our car late at night in a car park, but we don't worry about who you lie next to. I didn't realize I had to, Watts said. Her then-husband's confession came on an otherwise ordinary Sunday in 2018 after the couple, who share 4 children, had returned from church. Isn't that fun? He reeled off a list of his wrongdoings as if it was, a shopping list, Watts said, speaking to CNN at her house in Devon, England. He told her the abuse had been going on for years. He just sort of said, I've been using our son's sleeping medication to put in your last cup of tea at night, to tie you down, take photographs, and rape you. The admission left Watts questioning all their intimate moments. At the end of a very busy day, I was just grateful I had a cup of tea before I went to bed because I was so tired and didn't have to make it, she said, adding, you don't expect anything other than innocence to come from your partner. Concerned about her children and still grappling with what had happened, she initially kept it secret. The internal struggle eventually took a toll on her health. After a serious panic attack, Watts told her sister, then her mother called the police. While she believes pressing charges was the right decision at the time, it was agonizing, of course. A 4-year legal process saw her children become targets for bullying at school and left her social network all but destroyed. Watts said one of the many difficult aspects of her ordeal has been confronting people's assumption about abuse within a marriage, even though she recognizes that they are rooted in misinformation and unconscious bias. I've had people say, yeah, but he's your husband. Okay, those people can fuck all the way off. Or, but you weren't awake. Okay, they can also fuck off. So it's not the same as being taken down an alleyway, is it? I would say it could be worse. Her ex-husband is serving an 11-year sentence for rape, sexual assault by penetration, and drugging. Watts is still struggling to use the word rape to describe what happened to her. It is too painful. There's a shame and guilt that comes with it. That, maybe I should have known, or I can't believe I didn't realize. Why didn't I connect those dots, she said. That enduring stigma is exactly why Giselle Pellicott has sought to challenge on the international stage, telling the world at her former husband's trial that shame must change sides. In the town of Wigan, northwest England, Amanda Stanhope, who too was raped by her ex-partner, said Giselle's strength inspired her to speak. She broke the silence and shame. If she can do it, then so can I, Stanhope said. She now posts videos on social media to spread awareness about this type of abuse, encouraging women to trust their instincts. Over a 5-year period, Stanhope said she would often fall asleep without remembering how and would wake up to bruises on her body and in different clothes with a towel under her without memory as to why. After waking up a few times to her partner violently raping her, Stanhope knew something was wrong and asked him to stop. Instead, Stanhope said she was gaslit. He would then turn on me and say, well, you're on too much medication. You must be imagining it. That didn't happen. You're mental. You're crazy. So even though I felt 100% sure that something had happened, he was trying to change my reality, saying that it hadn't happened, even though the physical signs were there. With the support of her brother, Stanhope eventually went to the police. Her former partner was charged with rape and sexual assault. He took his own life before the case went to court. You fucking pussy. Sharing her story is part of Stanhope's healing process, but the trauma has unequivocally changed her outlook. I see everyone as a potential predator, Stanhope said, adding, it took my innocence away. Innocence for people away. And the article goes on and on. But I don't like I know, the book The Will to Change by Bell Hooks really focuses on blaming the patriarchy, and that's certainly patriarchal masculinity that requires dominating to feel a sense of respect. So obviously that is the case. But wow, fucking die, all men who do this. Like, die. I don't know how to even approach this issue. That's obviously been happening and will continue to happen, and is happening as you're hearing this in your headphones or on your speaker. I don't know what to do. But boy, I wish the men that don't rape would start thinking about something they could do, because it's always us.
Well, yeah, I mean, like a lot of people after this, like we're making, because this story went really viral online in the past week, so there was a lot of, clips about it, and this is the problem, because this investigation, I've read the whole thing as well, and this investigation and this investigative series and this article are quite lengthy, right? Yeah. And so the problem is, like, because most of us are ingesting stuff on social media, we're basically ingesting it in like maximum 3-minute servings. And I think this article, I read the whole thing on Without a Country.
I only read like half. I mean,
I think it took like 30 minutes to read aloud, if not longer, because I was stopping to comment on it on the show. And while this is terrible, I think part of the good news and something that was kind of unpacked in the last week is that, what was going around social media was that there were, 62 million people visited this site,
which the views, but yeah,
which it was the views. I don't know that it was specified if these were unique views. And the good news is that Motherless is a porn site, right? So it has, I think, 100 porn categories on it, only one of which is this sleep porn. A lot of the other categories are just like, skinny, big tits, like regular kind of things that we would see, right? So in this kind of sleep section, there was only about 1,000 users that were in that section. So I think, not that I want to come on here and like be a Holocaust denier, because my boyfriend actually was the one who pointed this out, and then I called him a Rape Academy denier all weekend. But I did do the proper research to make sure, because he wasn't just trying to start shit. I did look into it, and even like super liberal fact checking sites, i.e. Snopes, because it is a fact checking site, but it is it's a liberal slanted, so it's not really the best unbiased fact checking site. But if even Snopes is saying that CNN misrepresented figures in here, I think it is important, because it's like, okay, well, it's already like so scary being a woman in the world. But the good news is I think this is actually a pretty niche thing, just very interesting, because CNN was doing this whole series on gender inequality. And obviously the story is very fascinating. And I think a lot of people, who don't do the GWF podcast every week were probably quite shocked that something like this existed. But I mean, like, this to me is beyond like gender inequality. This to me is just like, these are psychopaths. When you're getting to the level,
a lot of psychopaths
of drugging and raping. I mean, 1,000 isn't that many. You're all gonna find, and but like the amount of countries that they had to go to find, all these. We're going to England, we're going to Poland. I mean, psychopaths are all gonna commune on dark spaces on the internet. And it's easier for it to feel like a large number in online spaces, I think. That and which is something rather new to society, also why this administration was able to get out of hand. I also think the same way racism has been able to exist a lot more out in the open during this administration, and the red word conservative word movement that is happening, not just nationally, but internationally, stuff like this is not going to be as well hidden because our leaders are telling us it's okay to treat women in this way. I mean, you can see it. I mean, I was even having a conversation this weekend with another female comedian because I've noticed the behavior of male audience members even changing.
Really?
When a woman is on stage. Absolutely. Absolutely. The level of disrespect, the talking back when female performers are on stage, it is marked. And God fucking help you if you're in the audience and you do that. You will rue the day you were born. And I will make sure of that. I have pummeled people with, and it's crowd work. Please, it's not funny. I'm not posting it because I'm just actually attacking you.
Yeah, I've done that before.
I've really seen a marked difference, especially in shows or in rooms where you're getting a lot of younger guys. Just as much as I love young people. And I love dating younger guys because I think they offer a lot. The bad younger guys are really fucking bad. They're really fucking bad because they're growing up with this, MAGA, Donald Trump, WWE, this is my hero energy. And, I know it's like a lot of, 20-something guys aren't political, but again, they're still growing up in a world where this is the leader of their country, where this is what is happening. And so it's almost impossible to not be exposed to this behavior towards women and to have it rub off on your behavior or to make you feel a little bit more entitled to women's bodies, and saying things that are inappropriate, doing things that are inappropriate, being in spaces where we're just going to talk about how women should do what we want them to do and we have control over their bodies. And if they're, if feminism has said that, if their feminist views are stopping them from fucking you, take the sex from them with the drugs. I mean, I really believe that's what's happening though.
No, I think you're right. and I think I feel like, God willing, we're doing this podcast in like 5-10 years. I feel like I'm going to be a lesbian out of spite. And that works.
I think people are doing that.
I've gotten into many relationships out of spite.
Yeah, I think people are definitely
some of my favorite relationships.
There you go.
With great people.
There you go.
Men, but like, okay, who cares?
Spiteful living.
Spiteful lesbianism.
Yeah. I think that's definitely absolutely happening.
And I'll have a great time. We'll both have very clean, well-decorated homes, and we'll understand each other emotionally, and we know when the other one's peeing messing because we understand what that's like. Sounds fucking great. I'm already sold. Yeah. Maybe I'll do it next year.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do think men's solution was, if women are going to stop fucking us because they don't appreciate our behavior, instead of changing our behavior, we're going to rape them.
It's so pathetic. And I imagine you only carry out this behavior that's just so deeply pathetic because you believe yourself to be pathetic, and you're certainly acting like it. So I don't know. Men listening to this, I know you're there. Talk to your fucking friends. Talk to your friends. Just talk to your friends.
Well, I think it just starts with like when people are saying disparaging things about women, whether it be a woman or the waitress at the restaurant.
Like, that's not cool. Why'd you say that?
I think that's where it starts because it's very easy for all the guys we know in the industry to get on and do a 2-camera 90-second video that's honestly captioned for views.
Those were fucking annoying me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to hear a man's opinion on this, to be honest.
Well, I think there was conflicting points of view because a lot of women are online were like, we better hear fucking men speaking out about this.
Sure. But I think I'd rather you speak it out to your friend groups privately because that's actually what's going to attract.
And I think that's what we really
We're not doing it for fucking likes and views.
And also like the type of men who would be part of the Rape Academy, their algorithm isn't going to get in its feed the in quotes, gay video from the cuck who's being like, don't go to the Rape Academy. Like, that's just not going to end up in their feed. Yeah. That video is going to be served back to the same women who were already following that guy, and then that guy's just going to get more pussy. And that's absolutely not the solution that we wanted from this.
We want spiteful lesbianism. Join the movement.
Right.
Starting it today.
Right.
Now let's switch gears again. Back to this is a great conversation that we had.
I do feel like one male comic is going to make Rape Academy merch, though.
Which one do you think it's going to be?
I don't know.
I think I have an idea.
I don't know. Jeff Dye, I think, would sell a lot. He'd move a lot of units.
I'm so mad I said he was hot on the show. Oh, my God.
Speaking about fucking losers.
Ugh. God damn it. I've said guys were hot that were just absolute trash. I didn't know them at the time, or like I didn't know parts of them. And oh God, I officially take back off the record what I said about Jeff Dye. Ew. Okay. But I don't take back what I say about this amazing woman. So she is our guest today. She's a licensed clinician. She studies so many things that all relates. She studies burnout, the nervous system, chakras. She's a therapist. She has been a marriage counselor. She has given therapy sessions to sexual predators. We've had such an interesting conversation. And her new book, it's called Are We Having Sex or What?, is now out for your reading pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Dr. Julie Merriman. We are here with Dr. Julie Merriman. So happy to have you. You are a licensed clinician and you are a burnout expert and researcher. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
You have a new book, Are We Having Sex or What? We're so excited to talk to you about that. Let's get to the American classic, burnout. Why did you decide to study that?
Because I crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I crashed and burned. Oh. But you know where it really started, I've been a therapist for 30-something years, and I used to, I still do, supervise interns when they come in the field. We go through a 60-hour master's, then we have to be supervised for 3,000 hours. It's a lot to be a counselor. But I noticed my interns coming in going, woohoo, let's kick some ass. Let's do this, and about 6 weeks later, they're dragging their legs in. I'm like, what in the hell's happening to these people? Burnout. They did not have good, we didn't do a good job teaching them in grad school how to take care of themselves. Because every time your brain, when you're with a client and you're connected, your brain doesn't know that trauma you're listening to isn't yours. So you get that dump of hormones and, you have to, all the things.
Wait, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So hearing somebody else's trauma could potentially really stress out your own nervous system.
That's literally why I started going to therapy
Absolutely.
myself because of all the crazy emails that we get on this. And when I say crazy, I mean the things that happen to you are crazy, not that you're crazy. Yeah. And I was just like, I felt like, honestly, for lack of a better word, I felt like a little bitch for going to therapy because of that. I was like, this is embarrassing, but I'm here for other people's trauma, I guess.
That's a thing, girl.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And then with a therapist, we listen to 8, maybe 9, don't see that many clients a day, but we might listen to up to 9 stories a day. We're not regulating our nervous system in between. You're a fucking mess.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I enjoy hearing the stories just because of like the human capacity and the human endurance is like, I'm always just so impressed by how people handle their lives after going through traumatic things. How do you take care of yourself when you are in a position where you hear people's stories so often?
Yeah. And I enjoy it too. I mean, it's like a treasure hunt for me. Because I'm wanting to get some solutions in there and, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You have to learn, sounds very cliche, but boundaries are very important. Mm-hmm. I stop here, you start there.
Sure.
It's very important. But learning, that's where I got as I was doing my research, I didn't know shit about nervous systems. I mean, poor Hayes, I don't know when, the polyvagal system theories haven't been out that terribly long.
Right.
And that's what, I really started trying to figure out how can we do this different? How can we take care of ourselves differently? And that's where I really started learning about regulating your nervous system and learning how to, come out of survival mode, because that's what happens. Our nervous system kicks into survival mode, fight or flight or fawn.
Yeah.
We either go into sympathetic or dorsal, or dorsal. And those aren't very good places to live because you're braced. Pleasure goes offline. Your brain is very selfish with energy. And the very first thing it's going to do is go, well, this woman's living in survival mode. She does not need to digest food.
Right.
She does not
so
need
the
to
other
have pleasure.
systems stop.
Yeah, things just stop down, which I think is what led to my breast cancer down. Immune system suppresses, all kinds of things start happening. So it's so we've got to learn how to regulate our nervous system to stay in ventral so that we can connect. That's our social place. That's where we feel alive and open. When we're not there, especially as you hit midlife, your body has been over-functioning for so long. Right? I mean, think about it. You're supporting everyone emotionally, relationally, and mentally.
This is for women only, I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely. We assume.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What man? No offense.
Yeah, we love our men for sure. But And in the world of counseling, most of my grad, because I'm still a professor, I train people to be counselors.
Sure.
Most of my students are female. We get a couple of men sprinkled in. So
Yeah.
So most of my research is on women.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank God.
Good, because
someone needs to be doing it.
I've never heard anybody say most of my research is on women. You never hear that. 20 years later, you're like, oh, we never tested seatbelts on a woman's body. Oh, okay, cool. That's why we die more in car accidents. Awesome.
Absolutely. And I saw an article, I can't cite it, damn it. But just the other day, they quit. They did not study us because of our hormones and things. It was too complicated. So
Which is such a joke because men have hormones too. It's just different levels of the hormones that we have.
They go through their monthly thing and they go through midlife stuff too.
Right.
Yeah. But yes, I've mostly focused on women.
Okay. Thank you for your service.
And you said like the first thing to go offline is sexual desire, which I think is so interesting because that's like, to me, a lot of this show is about like, sex is important. Sex is, kind of a primal need. But, if that's the first thing that the body decides to shut down, that's kind of going against that theory. So what are your feelings on that and why it's the first thing to shut down?
We lose access to it. It's still there.
Right.
We just lose access to it because in our primal state, desire isn't needed to stay alive.
Right.
You've got to be able to eat. You've got to be able to keep yourself safe. Your amygdala is scanning the environment. And we have trained it that only I get my value through my performance. I mean, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying
Sure.
often we've learned that is our value comes from our performance. So we've trained our amygdala to be scanning the environment. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And your body is absolutely exhausted. We need to eat to stay alive, right? We need to be sure that saber-toothed tiger does not eat us to stay alive.
Right. Safe.
So having a baby isn't necessarily an important thing at that time.
In fact, that could kill you.
This
This day and age and all day and ages.
Well, it's just interesting because the conversation around women is so often like, your main goal is, primally is to reproduce, to create new life, to keep the human race going.
Right.
But it's like when we're stressed out, we don't want to do that.
Well, that has been my experience.
Yeah.
That, again, we lose access to that pleasure. It's still there, but we are so covered up in our nervous system being so damn dysregulated. And I'm 63, so I've been on hormones a number of years. But I remember in my late 40s when I'm going through, perimenopause and all that, going, what the hell's happening in my body? I'm sweating all the time. The very first thing people talk about, you got to have hormones. And hormones are important, don't get me wrong, but even with hormones replaced, if that nervous system isn't regulated...
Then what's the point?
Yeah, you're not
That has to be the foundation.
It really does, to get the access back online and to quit trying so hard. What I mean by that is... we push and push and push ourselves. I don't know about y'all, and maybe y'all are in a different place, but I know in my 40s, or mid 40s, I would push stuff. I'd look at my calendar and go, Jesus God, I'd just rather poke a pencil in my eye and get all this shit done. But I'd push through. I had, I'm responsible. I'm over-functioning. I'm making sure I'm getting all this stuff done.
Right.
And I was miserable.
Yeah.
I woke up one day and I was so empty, and I think that has something to do with pleasure going offline too. We're just so empty. We lose sight of our identity under all the pressure and pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah, and I also think our nervous system being overloaded. I'm reading this new book that's fascinating. I don't have it with me, otherwise I would shout out the author and title. But it's all about when we lose meaning in our life, what we just get so depressed and we go to these like kind of addictive behaviors that we all do of like scrolling and watching YouTube videos, because every time I open Instagram, there's a new workout thing that I might want, or there's a new fact about women's hormones that I might need. And it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. But the experiencing actual meaning in your life, I feel like goes away when your nervous system is too jacked up.
You lose touch with it.
Yeah.
You become so, I I call it excavating ourselves. We have to, our identity. We have to re-excavate our identity. That's something I guess in my mid-50s, of course, my give a fuck went away too. So
that's so nice. I can't wait for mine to go away. It's going to be great.
It's like, meh,
yeah,
whatever.
In what way? Like in how other people perceive you?
How other people perceive me. And if I had a boss once that said, Jules, you could come to work and do about 30% and still be a great employee.
Right.
So I'm doing 150%. I'm pushing myself. And my give a fuck was, so maybe I arrived right on time instead of 15 minutes early because my grandmother taught me that you had to be 15 minutes early. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Right.
Maybe I cancel an appointment. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe I show up with my hair, I don't know, in a messy bun, whatever. It's okay. Yeah. Maybe I don't wear makeup. Maybe my dress isn't ironed. The rules I had on myself. Mm-hmm. I think that's where it was like, no.
You don't realize, I think we rarely take stock of how we're making ourselves live our own lives day to day. That we're like, oh yeah, this is, until it's too late and we're burned out.
Yeah, we're burned out, but we can come back. I also was swallowing my truth to keep the peace, and I've seen that, and I've worked with thousands of women over the years, of various ages. Now I mostly focus on gals in 50 plus, but so many of us swallow that truth to keep the peace. So that's our throat chakra going into our heart chakra. And what happens? Resentment.
Yeah,
a lot of resentment. Mm-hmm. And then what happens? Guilt. I'm not allowed to have that feeling. And I think I made peace with, I'm not swallowing my truth anymore.
Yeah.
I'm showing up as me.
Yeah, handling the feelings as they come and addressing them and communicating as it arises.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking up. And without apology.
It's so interesting because we're New York women, obviously. She's from Jersey, I'm from Philly, but we've lived in New York for so long. But I have noticed, we get emails from people from all around the world. We have a lot of people living in the South, in Texas, in the Midwest, and their lives are so different. And I'm always reminded every time we read an email from a woman from the South or from the Midwest in America, the expectations are different. I feel like Southern women specifically have a higher expectation on themselves to be proper and be soft and be ladylike and take care of everybody and make the holidays magical and it's like, oh my God, it feels way more stressful. New York women are just like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. We can say it and it's a little more accepted, but in the South, it's like, what did she say?
She's not appeasing. What do you
mean?
Because I learned early on, and I, of course, born in '63 in Fort Worth, Texas, and my dad, a good Southerner from Virginia. I learned very early to appease. I got to stay in the tribe. And if I got to stay in the tribe, I got to live. So, meaning, I don't know if y'all, but I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh yeah, no, that was said to me many, many times. And then a smack.
Yeah. And you live. You live. But yes, that's probably very true. Depending on where you were raised and the time period you were raised in, appeasing, which leads to fawning. What I've seen with women, too, that's really interesting, that I think really goes directly to desire and just how you show up in life. We have this sympathetic, the fight or flight going on, but underneath, there's the fawning going on. So you're completely dissociated from who you are.
Yeah.
You're wanting to fight and flight, but you also don't know who the hell you are under all that.
I always, when I feel that, I describe it as my brain going offline. Yeah. I don't have access to my thoughts, and it's like, so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have I've had a lot of trauma therapy in my days, and one of the really simple techniques that a therapist taught me that's very helpful that I do all the time throughout the day is making your in-breath shorter and making an out-breath longer. So that's
Absolutely.
Your vagus nerve gets and you feel it. Mm-hmm. Are there any other kind of tips or tricks or things that people can kind of do to get in their body and to take their brain somewhere else?
I love you. I said I am a somatic therapist, and I do a lot of chakra psychology because it helps my clients. The vagus nerves run right through your chakras.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I love the breathing, but I want you to make a big when you. Yeah. It's fun to have a room full of women doing that. It sounds like a bunch of orgasms just all around the room.
Is that an orgy or are they working on themselves?
What are they doing in there? Hip circles are great. We hold a lot of trauma in our sacral, root
Yeah.
chakras. Root chakra is really important to get balance. That's our safety. And when our body doesn't feel safe and we're in safety mode 24/7, your body does not feel safe to live in, and pleasure's not going to show up when your body doesn't feel safe to live in. So I like them to do, hip circles are really good. It's just a good way to just kind of feel your body, right? Just
Yeah.
feel shaking. We talked about all the animals we have on the ranch. You can look out. The cows are always shaking. My horse is always shaking. My dogs are shaking.
Yeah, animals complete their stress response.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we do not. We live in bodies that have they're
Accumulated.
accumulated. Our brain is not giving our body permission to fit, well, vice versa, both ways, chicken
Yeah.
and egg, to finish that stress cycle. So shaking is very good. If I've got a woman really dissociated, really, because I do MDR also in IFS, so we can get a bit
MDR?
Eye movement,
Oh, the-
desensitization,
Yeah.
reprocessing, and IFS, internal family systems. Those go great together. But when she's working on some trauma, she can get very dissociated. So it's very important to give her some techniques to get re-embodied as before we go on. Shaking is great. I'll have her stand up and just shake, shake, shake wherever. She might be feeling, because sometimes maybe it's lower, sometimes maybe it's higher, but whatever. The shake, it's amazing to watch, because I'm really watching their eyes, because that tells me a lot about, are you with me? Where are you?
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch her eyes come back online as she's shaking. So that, ladies, that's a great thing to do if you're feeling dissociated. Another thing, listen to 4 sounds in the room. Tell me 3 things you see. Tell me 2 things you hear. That gets you back into this present moment. And that's a really important thing to do if we're feeling very dissociated from ourselves.
Yeah, I learned that from a movie once. I'm like, okay, chrome light stand, mirror on,
That's
green lamp. Like, and it really does.
It does.
You just switch topics and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. That was easy.
I'm also trained in bioenergetic therapies, which is where we're energy beings, right? That's why chakras are so important. We're energy beings. But just a simple tennis ball, rolling your foot on a tennis ball, especially if you're working on root chakra stuff, can be very helpful. And when we are in survival mode, that frontal cortex is not fully online. So mindset apps and trying to meditate really isn't going to help us in that point. At that point, but doing a walking meditation can be helpful. It just, going outside, maybe not in the city, but
No, I do a lot of running and rollerblading and stuff without headphones, and I try to do mantras
Yeah,
as I run.
well-
So
well,
you can find peaceful nooks in the city.
just maybe Central Park or so. But
Yeah.
a walking meditation where you're feeling from your heel all the way to your toes, and really you're not trying to do anything except just notice that foot as you're landing it. Because we're trying to thaw our nervous system. That's the whole goal here, is to get
Yeah.
things thawed so we're back online.
Yeah.
And just little things like that can certainly help you start the thaw and also help you re-embody if you're feeling disembodied, which I find that a lot of women are floating heads of competence.
Yeah,
They-
it does. It does seem like that, which is like also ironic in terms of like societally, like our bodies are just front and center, but we don't feel like we're in them. So it's
Is
like,
it-
what the fuck is happening?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's that we work our ass off to look a certain way,
And then we, yeah,
but we're not living in it.
right.
The very first thing I do with gals when we're trying to get her re-embodied is a full body scan. And we're just scanning the chakras, but just, being curious about physical sensation. And she'll look at me like I'm the craziest bitch on earth. It's like, in my body,
how's
what
this
do you
gonna
mean?
help? Yeah.
I'm not feeling anything in my body. Like,
Well, that's the problem.
well, you are.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just have to get there.
So you said you do a chakra psychology. Like, I know what chakras are, I know what psychology is, but I never heard of that. Like, what is that? How do you get licensed in that? What's the process? How do you scan someone's body for their chakras? I
Yeah.
mean, I've done all of this, like, with like a spiritual advisor in Los Angeles, but never in like a more therapeutic setting, I suppose.
This is Julie Merriman, chakra psychology. So,
Yeah.
I'm a yoga instructor and I've got a PhD in counseling, so I've just put them together.
So
but,
this is did you create that?
well, I put
Yes.
those words together.
Okay. Okay.
I don't
So that's
know,
why. Okay,
but,
that's
yeah.
why I'm hearing of it today for the first time because I'm meeting you. Okay.
Oh, well.
Okay.
But it's just putting, I'm telling you, the theories I'm trained in line up with chakras. They
Yeah,
line
yeah.
up with
Sure.
them. I'm trained in emotional transformation therapy. That's where it first hit me because I have this light box that my clients sit in. I don't put them in it. They sit in it.
Right.
And it lines up with chakras. So if they're telling me, and we'll do a full body scan. And she might say, yeah, my chest is feeling really heavy today. Okay, so I start her on a green light, and the light kind of flashes, and we start discussing, okay, what's going on? What's going on? What do you feel in your chest? Tell me what's going on. Well, my husband and I had a fight, or whatever. It's always on point. Whatever color she takes, whatever part of her body she takes me to, something's going on in her life around that color. Maybe the throat chakra, I feel like I just can't speak my truth to, or, whatever
Yeah,
it might
be honest.
Yes. So that's where it really hit me. My God, there's a lot connected here with our body and what's going on in our life. So what I have found with chakra psychology is really getting a woman embodied. It's a way to help her. Here's what chakras mean. Here's where they live in your body. Let's scan, because she's so lost at first, not knowing I'm doing this wrong. I don't know how to scan my body. There's no right or wrong. There's
Right.
no
It's
right
just
or
like it kind of gives you a starting point.
Exactly. Exactly. And then if I teach her about each chakra, how important it is to have that balance, it's amazing to me. Several weeks later, she'll start coming in going, I was scanning and I noticed my solar plexus. I was really feeling like my power had been stolen. And she's noticing her upper tummy is feeling anxious. That's where her anxiety is living. So it just gives me some words and just a modality, a theory to take her through as we're trying to get her re-embodied.
Yeah, I love models that use Eastern and Western medicine because I think both have strengths, and it's like, well, if you just take the strengths from both, you're gonna have a pretty high chance of helping this person out because our bodies are more brilliant than we give them credit for.
Our body is so brilliant. It holds memories and it holds promise. Our bodies are so, and really this is a marriage of somatic therapies with an Eastern blend with the chakras, because it just gives you a place to go. It's not as abstract, perhaps, if she can actually go, okay, I understand root chakra needs to be safe for me to be able to get pleasure back online. Let me try and balance my root chakra.
Do you ever deal with, I'm really interested in this lately, genetic trauma, like the trauma that lives in your DNA if you've had relatives who were enslaved or in the Holocaust or something
Or raped.
awful.
Yeah.
And how that lives and gets passed down, I find so fascinating because it's like, well, what if your life is stressful and then you have that in your DNA? Which one is it?
Right. Well, I think it's a chicken and the egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it really does lead to how you're able, how embodied you're able to get. I use tuning forks.
Love tuning forks, yeah.
Tuning forks are great, and it really helps. There's a maternal side, there's a paternal side when you're doing the tuning forks, and it really does help you key into, okay, over here on the maternal side, okay, you got some issues with mom. Tell me, let's get into the history. I like to have people do a sex timeline.
Oh, what's that?
It's they tell me as much as they can. We learned so much about our sex life from our parents. Should I be shamed about sex? Should I just show up for sex? As a woman, can I have pleasure in sex? But I have her go deeper. Let's learn about your ancestors as well. As far back as she can go. Maybe she can't go all the way back.
Yeah.
But at least to great-grandparents. And it's fascinating to see what's been passed along about the story of sex and how you should approach sex and how you should, no, you're not allowed to do that, or yes, you're allowed to do that, or you're a slut, or what.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating approach. Also, it's interesting to see what kind of traumas she might have had with her first sexual encounter, perhaps, or, did she have an abusive partner,
Right.
whatever it might be. But it's not only helpful for me as a therapist, but it's very helpful for her to see that whole timeline drawn out.
Yeah.
And also if she's able to pull out that, oh my God, I did not know that my great-great-grandmother had been raped and had to keep the baby, or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that I firmly believe that stuff is in our DNA and absolutely impacts how we approach not only life, but our sexual life.
Yeah, that's why, we've heard about sexual assault from listeners who write us in and just being people in the world since we started the podcast about 12 years ago. And, this new article that CNN came out with about the Rape Academy. The anger is, I have to work hard every second of the day to compartmentalize it. A lot of women write us in who are sexually assaulted and men who have been sexually assaulted as kids. Like just that kind of abuse on your soul. How, like, I imagine working through that, you've worked through that with your clients before. Like, what is that approach?
I tell you.
Embodying, I imagine it starts with.
Yeah. Well, as they get older, I'm also a registered play therapist. So,
What's
registered
that? Play?
registered play therapist.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was. It's so fun. It's for kids. Kids can't sit here and go, why? I tell you, Dr. Merriman, I feel this way.
Yeah,
They don't have that. So registered play therapists, we use toys, we use various things to work with children. It's about tracking behavior. It's about just being present with that child and in their trauma or wherever they might come in for me. But in Texas, we have Child Protective Services. I don't know what to call it here.
Yeah, same.
I contracted with CPS for kids that were moved from home. And so I got, babies that had been prostituted out for moms to have their drugs, multiple rapes.
Yeah.
The hardest kids I worked with were those where their father had raped them.
Yep.
Incest is, because they're so I loved him, but is this right?
Yeah.
Maybe it felt good. I mean,
That's a mind fuck on a whole new level. And on a common, 3 people that are very close to me have had that experience. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
And there's probably some genetic,
maybe
DNA stuff going on. But I learned a lot through that. In fact, I became an expert witness for the FBI for child abuse cases. I did not go to school thinking, here's what I'm going to do.
Right.
It just came up. But those babies, I tell you, the biggest trauma they had was being removed from the family.
Interesting.
That was really the biggest, which I found interesting as well.
Yeah.
But I can. I'll finish where I'm going with this. I can think of one little girl I worked with, and this was the one who her mom was prostituting her out for drugs. This little girl, it's rare I want a child to go into a courtroom and testify against the perpetrator because I think that just re-traumatizes her. But this little girl was determined.
Wow.
So, but this was like 6 years later. We had worked with her for a long time, and she was at an age where she was like, F&A, I want to do this, Julie. Got to get in there.
Nice.
I
That's
know,
beautiful.
right? And she did. These guys in orange suits came in, and she was going, that bastard did this. And that.
Wow.
And off they went. I think that was very powerful for her, probably very healing.
Because
and
all the
empowering.
agency was in her hands.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. That
God, I'm so
solar
happy she had that
plexus-
moment.
Yeah, sadly it's rare, but she did have that moment. So it's very important that those babies get therapy early. But I tell you, at 3 or 4, that therapy looks very different. As they get older and their brain develops, that trauma looks a little different at 10 because they start understanding their body's different, right?
Sure.
Then maybe at 16 to 18, maybe some first sexual experiences, that's a whole new way for that trauma to show up. And then when they start having babies, that's a damn thing that just
Every
keeps on
life
giving.
event is trauma,
Yes.
potential trigger.
Yes. But if they start therapy early, they have a much better chance with that trauma.
Yeah.
Because they have some language and some understanding along the way. But it really is going to get in the way of their sex life.
Right.
And I think of a woman I've worked with very recently who has overcome a lot of her stuff. And she was saying, no, she and her husband have a great sex life. So there's some happy stories.
That's great.
Yeah, there's some happy stories for sure. But depending on the trauma a woman is bringing into her sex life really depends on how, we talk about the nervous system and staying in survival mode. If you've got some trauma with you, that's going to be a little harder to come off that out of survival mode.
Yeah.
Because
everybody's born with different levels of resilience kind of naturally. Would you agree? I don't know. I just kind of feel that's a theory of mine, an unprofessional theory. But some people are just born resilient, and I'm like really impressed. I'm like, man, if that happened to me, I don't know that I would have handled it like that.
No, I agree. I think we all have personalities we're born with.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with sibling sets where I'm, one would be like, they saw the same trauma, like,
that was nothing. Yeah.
One was like, I will never be the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other's in a fetal position. So
Yeah.
and I think personalities do play in.
Yeah, most siblings I know are actually quite different. I know a lot more siblings who are different than are similar.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. You talk a lot about the midlife crisis myth. I'm very interested in that because I just turned 40 in September, and I mean, for me, I'm guessing like that's what I'm saying is midlife. I mean, right? I guess midlife. And some people had great things to say about 40s, and some people were acting like my life was going to be over. I truly forgot I was turning 40 last year, so until I was like, oh, I have an opportunity to throw a really big party. And then I was interested in it. But I truly just forgot that I was turning 40 until my best friend reminded me. So what are some myths that you think societally we continue to carry on about the midlife crisis? What was it in reality for you? Did you have one? This kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, the myth, I think, and I kind of spoke about it earlier, but we say it's all hormones,
Right?
And it's a time where a woman realizes I have been serving everyone else's ass, for 20 years. No mas. I'm going to do this different. I can't do this anymore. My midlife crisis, and that's my first book, In Pursuit of Soul Joy, actually was my midlife crisis.
Right.
I came off a stage. I'd given I'm a professor. You're always having to go out and speak and do this shit. Standing ovation, full house, you would have thought I would have felt something.
Right.
I would have been like, oh.
Yeah, good for me.
I was numb. I didn't even feel like that was applause for me. It just, that was my wake-up call. I mean, not only had hit midlife, but I was so burned out and so done of serving everyone else. Mm-hmm. I had to do something different.
Right.
So the midlife crisis is really like, I can't take it anymore.
Well,
My gas tank is full, and now it's leaking.
Because I was like, I think I went through that like 15 years ago, right? Like, not even because I'm like, I mean, do you feel like the goal that you had reached with, speaking in a sold out auditorium wasn't your purpose, or like it just, what was not connecting for you there?
I was numb. I mean, that my identity was just gone. My nose was to the grindstone for so long.
Right.
And I wasn't feeding my soul. I was just giving. You become the empty cup.
Yeah.
That myth. That's the myth. You can't pour from an empty cup. Bullshit. We do it all the time. And then you become.
Women do.
Yeah. We become that empty cup.
Right.
I had become the empty cup.
Okay.
And for me, it just hit me about 45.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a myth that we have a midlife crisis. I think it's just, for women, it's a fucking amazing thing. It's a homecoming. It's our opportunity to wake up, eyes fully open, and go, I can embrace this stuff and do this different.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to serve.
Right, because it seems like to me, I mean, obviously I'm just like approaching it, but when I'm really looking at it, and obviously like, heavy bias from doing this show and just being myself for my whole life, but it feels like as you approach it, more and more it seems like propaganda that is like served. This is going to get really feminist here, but like served by the patriarchy, because I'm like, well, of course we would tell women that they're going through a midlife crisis and things are going to get bad at a time when they're going to start reprioritizing their life so that men and the male gaze is not what they are serving first. So like, to me, that's what it became clearer and clearer. I mean, I spent a few summers just really going hard on feminist literature, but yeah, I mean,
good for you.
That's just what it seemed like. And I'm like, because nothing's wrong. Like if we're talking about like body deterioration, like I look better now than I did when I was in my 20s. I mean, like I probably look as good as I did when I was like 24.
Yeah.
So I don't, when people say like, oh, your body's going to start failing or you're going to feel like you don't have enough time left. I might have too much time left based on the women in my family. Like my great aunt was a chain smoker and she lived till 96, and I go, I don't know that I want to go that long. To be honest.
I ain't either. Honestly, 80 sounds great. So then I'm good.
I mean, she was driving till the end. I mean, not always
your
on the right side of the road.
I remember I met your grandma. She's
still alive.
Yeah, she's old.
She's like 90s, 91 maybe.
Yeah.
You got some genetics, girl.
Got great.
So, I know, and they used to feel like a blessing, and now it might be a curse, but we'll see.
The women live too long.
We'll see.
At 63, I'm thinking I got a lot more shit I want to do.
You feel like you got 30 more years left of
do.
stuff? Okay,
I
good.
have stuff to do.
Well, your energy is like
I know
great.
you have more energy than me. I'm old.
You do. You have the energy of a 25-year-old. I'm like, whoa, I'll have what you're having.
Yeah.
Well, life is just, I went through a point where it wasn't depression. It was, I was just burned out. I worked with a client the other day, and she put it so well. She said, my life force just feels drained.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point that when I came off the stage, it was just drained. Like I had all the damn T-shirts. I'd hit every goal I wanted.
Right.
And I was like, is this fucking it?
Yeah.
This is not what I'd planned.
Right.
So plugging into purpose, getting my life force back. And I feel like a kid at a candy store now.
Right.
There's so much shit I want to do.
Right.
And I'm ready to retire at the university so I can focus more on my stuff.
Right.
And I can draw full retirement in October. So I want to do it smart.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you got off stage, like, what did you change? What did you say? What did you alter in your life to get here?
Well, I found a damn good therapist.
A talk therapist, or
Linda is amazing. She does talk.
got to talk to Linda.
Yeah,
give Linda our number.
Linda's. But she's also all the things. She does somatic work. She does bioenergetic work. She does the light box. She does tuning. All the shit. She does every. I mean, even a little bit of Reiki in there to help you clear some of your channels. So, no, and I tell this to my students because I train therapists. Don't you dare sit your ass on a sofa and be a talking head.
Yeah.
You get up and move. I mean, we're good at talking.
Yeah.
You need to move. Your body is what's holding the energy that we need to move. So more than talk.
So you got a great therapist that integrated a lot of modalities.
A lot of modalities. Really went back in. My mom ran off with a rock band when I was 10. So
Really?
It was a great run.
Your mom's almost famous.
Yeah, your mom is oh my God.
Almost famous. Yeah. And they married. She ran off with a guitarist and they married.
Whoa.
They had this.
Sucks for you, but wow, she really had a great time.
She had a great time. No, it was a great experience. I mean.
Well, not for you though, right?
No, well, no.
You were like, where's my mom?
Why did mom?
She's
a
in
PTA
KISS now.
teacher. PTA president to run off the rock band. And left me with my daddy, who was an engineer at Bell Helicopter. So we're talking night and day.
Yeah.
This free spirit and this stuffed shirt.
Whoa.
But through it, I thank her because she loved me enough to leave me behind. She was in a place.
Well,
where
that's
she
one way
was-
to look at it. Damn, that's really healthy.
Oh well,
It's unique. It's mostly the dad leaving, so this is
Yeah. Well, and poor daddy in 1973.
Right.
He's like, what the
do I
hell
do
do
with
I
this
do with
kid?"
these kids?
Right.
And parents wouldn't let little girls come over to my house because only a father was there.
right.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I mean, it's fine. Mom and I take care of Mom. She's 85 now, and she's taking care of my kitty cat while we're up in New York right now. But I'm having a 63 moment. Get me back on track. Mom left.
Oh, we were just going after you went to therapy. What else did you do to get back on track after the burnout you experienced when you left stage?
So I really got in touch with my inner child and the wounding that I had because my first marriage. I was 16. Don't do it.
16?
Don't do it.
Girl. That's some Texas shit.
Well, no,
That's some Texas shit.
That is some.
That was legal?
Well, Daddy had to sign for me.
I was gonna say, I was like, what, did Mom know?
Well, Mom was with KISS. How old was your husband?
He was 20. I don't even remember, but it was. I mean, it's fucked up. Don't get married at 16. It was a very dysfunctional family. Daddy had just remarried. I hated his wife. I wanted out of there.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
How long did you stay married to that guy?
12 years.
Wow.
But
You've
honestly,
overcome a lot.
But then it's like, you're not even 30 yet and you're already
Got a marriage
move
under
on
your belt.
to marriage too.
That's pretty sick.
Good time management.
Well,
Yeah,
it was,
for sure.
It was good time. And I found an amazing man on the other side of that. But I mean,
Right.
this guy, the tension turned out to be abuse. He was not it wasn't a solid.
Sure.
Well, that's why you marry a 16-year-old so that she doesn't know what she wants yet or how to be
Exactly.
treated. So you can, just cross your fingers until she figures it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was told that I was too stupid to go to college. Now, I did graduate high school, but I was told I was too stupid to go to college. So I started college, I guess about 25 when I finally was like, fuck this, I'm starting college.
Sure.
And so I felt behind. I felt like from my peer mates, I felt like I was behind.
Yeah.
So by the time I hit 45, I'd pressured. You got to do this, Julie. You got to do this. You're behind. You're a loser.
Yeah.
And years of that really, I come off the stage and I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah. Fuck all this.
Right,
Fuck
this
off
is-
all the way.
This
Fuck
is
off all the way.
not worth
Yeah.
killing myself over.
Right.
Yeah.
So I started seeing what I could remove. I started seeing how I could do things a little different.
Yeah.
And really, I do a lot of good old CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy too, because
Right.
those thoughts, that shit you say to yourself,
Yeah.
gets your nervous system going this way or this way. And so it was really a matter of how I was talking to myself. Linda really helped me make peace with my inner child, the wounding. And I'm not blaming my parents. They loved me. They did the best they could.
Yeah.
It's how I internalize things. But she helped me get through some of that wounding
Nice.
to where I could just come in and go, fuck this, I'm enough.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was. I was trying to earn
Prove
being enough.
that you were enough.
Right.
Right.
I am enough just for being. And I'm pointing over to my husband who's in the studio, but he really is the first person that ever loved me unconditionally.
Really? Wow, an
Only.
unconditional
Yeah.
love in a marriage. Honestly, I've never heard that. That's fucking amazing.
He's honest. Yeah.
My thing is I think you can only get unconditional love from an animal. I'm pretty sure, but
they're
maybe
pretty
not.
good.
Yeah,
No,
they're pretty good.
A good marriage makes each person better. Not, you don't complete each other. That's bullshit. But it
Right,
makes
right.
each person better. And I think we've done that for each other. I couldn't have finished my master's. I couldn't have finished my PhD if he weren't feeding the kids and doing the dishes.
Feeding the
and
kids. What a
washing-
man. Yes.
He's just playing, hello.
He knows we're talking about him, I can tell.
That's how you stay so calm.
I love stories of like a man going, let me step up to the plate and like take care of the kids while you do this thing that's obviously so important for you. I love you. I want you to be happy. And it's like in marriages have so many evolutions of like, all right, one of us could have a mental breakdown one at a time.
And we've
then,
done that.
Then you work on your dreams one at a time, and just switch.
Yeah. Well, and 35 years later, we're still going strong. The book, my new book, Are We Going to Have Sex or What, is what I asked him on our first date.
You asked, are we going to have sex or what?
Yeah. He's
That's
a little
some
younger.
shit I would say.
He's a little younger than I am. I had to get him, we're going to have sex. But he's so sweet. He's like, that new book, you should name it that. And I was like, well,
It's a great
It's
title.
a great title.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering what like the origin of that title was because I thought it was more like a guy nagging you as you get older, and women have other priorities, and then guys are like, "Oh, we're gonna fuck," or like, "What's happening?"
No, it's quite the opposite. It was me.
Interesting.
What is this book about?
It is a midlife. Well, it's the midlife guide for reigniting desire, so that because it kind of burns out, we lose. Like I said, we lose that access to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't burn out; it's still there. We just lost access. Reclaiming your body because we lose track of that, and living fully alive. Isn't that a yummy way to think about living the rest of your life fully alive? So it's about balancing your nervous system, but I also, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship, novelty is very important. Because your desire, even if it's online, it's called like smoking a cigarette. This is boring as hell.
Yeah.
we
Right.
got to do something different.
Sure.
So it's about how to add novelty back into your relationship as well. And it's not always in the bedroom. I mean, we just got back from a whirlwind thing in Spain that was fun and novel and different for us. It's wherever you choose to add novelty. Now, maybe we might go to a strip club. That's fun too. I mean, novelty looks different. but You got to add a little spice in there to keep things going, especially in long-term relationships. But I also talk to gals that are just dating at my age because vaginal atrophy and you don't get wet quite as quick. And I mean, various things come up that can be kind of
Roadblocks.
embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And helping her understand that, sometimes, especially, I mean, like my orgasms now are better than they ever used to be.
What?
Yes. 60 is a great place to go.
Really?
It's just going to take you a hot minute longer.
That's fine. I got time.
But they're deeper and better.
What?
And, but you got to get the nervous system regulated and have a good partner that understands, okay, it's going to, foreplay might take a little longer.
Right.
Things might look a little different, but how fun is this? And I've done a lot of marriage counseling. For others.
Yeah.
I mean, not that. And in that, it's very important for couples to be able to talk. It's shocking to me how many married couples, they don't even know how to fucking talk about sex.
No.
You're having sex, but you're not talking about it?
Mm-hmm. Talk about it to everybody else except the person they're having sex with.
Right.
And then you're not enjoying it? Shocking.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have a rule for my couples, you can't talk about it naked in the bedroom. You need to talk about it dressed at the table or on a date or somewhere. Because blame and shame, you don't want that to come into the game. But there's just lots of little things in the book that the whole idea is to help her get re-embodied and live her best life, however that might be.
So is this a book that you recommend? I mean, is it a book written for women to read or men to read or whoever to read? Like, because it seems like it might be more helpful if men read this book.
Yeah. I would love it if men read that book.
I think every woman should go buy that book for her husband.
Yeah.
Gift it to your boyfriend.
Yeah. Here you go. I love a present that's also for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
Men do it all the time. Yeah.
Let's read it together.
Yeah.
Act it out.
How, do you find, I don't know how often you work with men, but like, how do they get embodied? I mean, the same way, breathing is not sex specific, like gender specific, but like, what are ways that men can get embodied that, I don't know how to put this, that don't feel gay? I feel like a lot of men, not New York men, and we surround ourselves with men who are artists, so like, the men I surround myself with are very in touch with themselves, and nothing like woo-woo makes them uncomfortable. But a lot of men, that shit does make them uncomfortable. How do you like approach that with a guy?
You really need to get in there and work with their shame game.
Yeah,
and see
yeah,
what's going
shame.
on with that. Because to really connect with your woman, I mean, my husband's a cattle rancher, a farmer, and a retired state trooper. All those check the boxes of this man. But he will be the most gentle, sensitive, intimate.
Wow. How do you get like that? Just natural?
I don't know.
Sorry, we're talking about you right in front of you, but that's really impressive. Because like there's this type. We talked about this book recently that I read. It's The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. Such a great book on patriarchy and how that messes men up and how that is such a huge disservice to men. But I find that it's tough to like get in there, like break this goddamn wall that you've worked so hard to build.
It's a shame. Yeah, I think it has to do with shame. I can't get in there. I mean, how can I be a man if I'm
right?
Even our boys are in their 40s. Cliffy's anyway. Boys are in their 40s. We just took the family on a big trip to. We've traveled a lot this year. We took everyone to Costa Rica. We thought that was fun.
I love Costa Rica.
So fun. And my daughter-in-law planned the zip line through the jungle.
Cool.
So fun.
I'm terrified of heights. But and at first I was like, no, I'm not going. I was like, fuck, I don't want to be left behind.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Right.
So I get up there and I'm having a nervous flipping breakdown. I'm like, I'm about to throw up. And my two boys, and they're big. I mean, they're big old boys, and they come. They're so gentle and so sweet. And Mama, it's okay. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Mama, breathe deep. I mean, they were.
That's nice.
It was so, but yes,
you raised good men.
Good men, but they're mirror neurons. And ladies, we all have these mirror neurons.
Yeah.
Mine kicked in with theirs as they're trying to calm me down, and they got me up there, got me strapped up, and I did it. I didn't die, and I was like, damn, I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, but had those boys, those big old strapping, masculine, because one's a firefighter, engineer. He's a master's in engineering, but he's a firefighter because he likes to burn shit down. So, and my other one's a rancher in Montana. These big old,
so
typical.
Cool.
Well, you think these manly,
these machismo,
gentle. sweet, taking care of their mom.
That, and I don't think we give enough credence to healing. Healthy masculinity is so healing to experience, to be in the presence of. I think we need healthy masculinity in terms of like a healing sense as much as we need healing femininity.
Right.
Those two, like, they're just, when you're in the presence of a man that has those qualities, you're like, oh my God, thank God. Now
You're
I can
safe.
fucking relax.
Exactly. Your root chakra can come back online balanced, and your pleasure center's going to open.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels safe.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
It's so cool. What do you suggest to couples that have like intimacy issues? This is the question I wanted to ask you. So you've done marriage counseling for couples, and a lot of people will say that couples counseling is just like a step before the breakup. Like, I'm too chicken shit to ask for a divorce, so I'm going to go to counseling. Have you seen that?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
In fact, I've trained in a thing that's, I can't think of it doesn't matter. But the whole premise is, okay, you don't go to the divorce labor yet. We're going to have 5 sessions.
Yeah.
And at the end of those 5 sessions, you're getting a divorce, you're going into marriage counseling, or you're just going to choose to live in the hell you're living in. And I can't tell you how many people, well, we're going to stay in this hell and then get divorced the next month.
The devil you know. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one thing I tell couples, do not schedule sex.
Do not schedule
Do
sex.
not. That's just pressure on your nervous system to perform.
That makes sense.
Don't.
Because scheduling is kind of antithetical to relaxing, I imagine.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. You know, and it takes spontaneity out. And that's, research shows only about 15% of women wake up horny. I mean, that's a myth. Like, ooh, she's going to want me. No.
No. Yeah.
We have contextual responsive sexuality.
Desire.
Desire. Come on. So to schedule a date or schedule sex is really putting pressure on your system that isn't fair to that system. It's far better to, just schedule time together.
Yeah.
Without
that pressure.
Without the pressure. Like, I mean, we ended up, my husband and I have a ritual where we get up early and have coffee together in the morning. And as a state trooper, we never knew what his schedule was, but we'd always make a time to have that coffee together. And I can't tell you how often intimacy happens through that. We end up knocking one out before the day starts.
Yeah.
And it's a great day.
But you're letting your body speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Without putting like any pressure from the mind on it.
Exactly. And that's the last thing we need if we're in a dysregulated nervous state.
Yeah.
And why do you think so many people, because like, I always just like, my own intuition is like, when people schedule sex, I go, ugh. Like, because when I think of my schedule, I think of a list of things that I don't want to do. And that's on me. But I just go, don't want to do this, don't want to do this, don't want to do this. So why do you think that is kind of the overwhelming recommendation among like sex and relationship experts? Because most people, especially when you enter adulthood, especially for couples who have kids, do say you kind of need to schedule sex. And I really fight against this internally.
Well, I think you have good instincts. I think you have very good instincts.
I'm just stubborn, but
look, and I just talked with, there's an organization that licensed sex counselors, and I pitched my spin in my book how I believe a dysregulated nervous system gets in the way of sex, and I'll take that to my grave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were like, "Wow, Julie, that's really not a lot of people are talking about that.
Interesting.
Not a lot of people are looking at it from the dysregulated nervous system. They're looking at it more from the hormones, or not talking about
all these
whatever.
External factors.
Absolutely. So I think that it just hasn't caught up. Because when you think about it, that's bullshit. If you are dysregulated and pressured, the last thing you need to look at that list, as you said, sex. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And then you get in there and end up with a fight, or you fake an orgasm.
Or it just feels like you're raping yourself with your partner's body. Like, ugh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, maybe we schedule
time to regulate.
Time
like an activity that
absolutely.
would be regulating.
And I will tell couples, no sex. You cannot have intercourse. Get a vibrator out. no genitals. Just see how it feels on your arm. See how it feels on your tummy. See how it feels on your ankle.
That's a way to trick someone into giving you a massage. Love it.
Exactly.
That sounds great.
I just bought a massage gun off Amazon. One of the best.
I love massage guns.
Oh my god! On
They're
the stomach,
so
I drain my lymphatics every morning now with the massage gun. But then, like, you massage your stomach. And
Yeah.
fuck, this is great.
Well, see,
Something
that's
about
what-
vibration just on parts of the body.
Well,
It's
and
like,
you're getting the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to tone that, and a lot of women have lost touch where pleasure is.
yeah, right.
They and when we are in such a dysregulated state, we're not getting enough blood flow to our clitoral, to
Right.
our genital areas. So it's a lot of times she is going to end up faking an orgasm just to get it over with.
Yeah.
I have 2 podcasts. I got one, Sexy After 50. I just did this week I just posted a podcast on faking orgasms and how it's not good for our nervous system.
Right. Yeah, because
we're
you're lying to
teach-
yourself,
Exactly.
and you're lying to the person that you're having sex with, and it's
Exactly.
like this is just bad for all of us.
Oh, well, especially you're training yourself to betray yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I've never done it. I think I would laugh, quite honestly. I can't. I couldn't do it. I would never go out of my way to make a
Make a
man
man feel
think he
better?
did
you are
a good
living in a
job.
regulated nervous system, woman.
Yeah.
I don't know that I am. Well, because I was doing a little bit. I'm very interested because people write us so often about one person not wanting to have sex or them not feeling like they want to have sex, and I was trying to like do a little research about it. A lot of what I was finding is that you're not losing attraction. Sometimes you're losing like the tension or assertive pursuit energy is what I was coming up like when you're in a long-term relationship, like sometimes it's just like we're talking about novelty. You're talking about like the fun of being pursued. Like you don't have to really pursue your partner in the same way, but I suppose you could. I mean, I don't know if one person's
A lot of imagination. Don't talk to me for 3 days. Just ignore me.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I found a lot of the women I work with are very much in love with their spouse. The love has not gone away. It's
Right.
not an attraction thing. It goes back to just having lost access to that desire, to being so just worn out from, that overservice, that overfunctioning.
Yeah.
That it's hard to pull. It's hard to, desire is offline, and it's hard to find that energy when that desire feels offline. So the less pressure we can take, we're just going to touch. We're
Yeah.
just going to talk.
Yeah.
Intercourse is off the table.
Yeah, some guardrails. That's nice because it's easier to like everybody in this room could like easily be see a stranger that fits their version of what they think is attractive and go hello, but that's such a different system than your partner. But the one you have with your partner is so deep and beautiful and like just has roots and deep in the ground that it's almost like. It's hack and lazy to go. Yeah, anybody could be attracted to like that hot guy walking down the street. Like that's duh. But like you have to.
But it's novelty. Also,
Right,
that would be
right.
a novel. Like, I've never seen his. Like, yeah,
Right. Well, there's also some. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, do you think there's anything to be said for like safety being interpreted as the antithesis of like hot? I think there's something there a lot that a lot of people write in, and sometimes I can even feel this when. Someone feels safe and reliable. We know they're going to consistently show up. There's something that makes you not want to have sex as much with that person. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I've not.
Is this the
Well,
same?
you definitely do that too.
What? That they're reliable, so I don't want to have sex. Or so
Yeah.
I
Well, like this, like we all are.
don't think I've ever been with anybody that's that reliable.
Well, exactly. So you're.
So I don't really know.
So the chase is part of what does it.
Sure. On your toes. This like
Right, the people who
I don't. I
like
can't predict all your behavior.
exactly.
That's that
Yeah,
novelty.
yeah.
That novelty, that lust, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Right.
That
Because sometimes in the past, like I've been with a boyfriend, I'm just like don't want to have sex with him anymore. Then I break up with him, and then all I want to do is have sex with him because he's not accessible anymore, right?
Right.
It seems a little bit more like a pattern we see more often in men, but certainly a ton of women write into this podcast who make themselves overly available. And they just love nothing more than a man who seems to kind of not like them. And this is a phenomenon
So hot.
I can't wrap my head around. Because to me, there's nothing hotter than a guy who thinks I'm the best person in the world. That's my number one quality I look for in a person.
Yeah.
But it is not.
Common.
It's not common for women, especially, and men either. Like, there's a lot of men in the world who are almost repulsed when women really like them.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean,
'Cause they hate
self-hatred to me
themselves,
is what I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's going to, yeah. Is it the bad boy I want to catch and fix?
right.
Or is it familiar?
Or, yeah. Or, I mean, that's.
I didn't get parent love didn't really happen with me, and so it was always hot or cold. Like, is mom gonna hit me or hug me today? And so maybe that's why I like it. Just
Maybe
nervous
so.
system is wired
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this is comfort zone.
Well, and our
The
nervous
danger
system,
zone is a comfort zone.
It does look for that. It
Yeah.
is attracted to the energy that
Familiarity.
we had in the house.
And completing a loop, because it's like, if I didn't get closure with this relationship with a parent or like a person that was supposed to be loving relationship, like, I want to then fix it with somebody else.
Yeah.
And be hell-bent on that. I feel like a lot of people can get like just very swept up in the addiction of fixing an old wound with a new person.
Yeah.
So fun. Being a
Yeah.
human is fucking what? It's such a shit
like
show.
an addiction that you
Yeah.
keep on feeding.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting, though, how our body responds to different things like that?
Yeah.
There's
There's also too, I was gonna say, in terms of like sex and your nervous system, like there's like with kink and stuff. I'm not a vanilla person, but I'm not like, because of doing the show, we know the vast array of kinks that exist. I feel vanilla compared to a lot of people, but I like sexual adventure. I think it's very fun. Part of what's fun in that is you are using your imagination the way you would when you were a kid. It's just for sexual purposes with your partner, and it's just like an explosion of bliss when those factors are all aligned, and you certainly have to feel safe for that. Like something like kink, like a dom sub, the sub is actually the one in charge. So you establish safety first, and then you lose yourself in your imagination of like a scene or something.
Yeah.
And that's very, very nice.
Well,
Very healing.
And that is absolutely bringing novelty into it and
Yeah.
keeping pleasure fed and
Yeah.
alive. And
Yeah.
And I think that what you bring up is so important for our sex lives, to keep, just desire and pleasure, to keep it fed with imagination and
Yeah.
and that novelty of something different. Let's role play this and let's try that. And you'd be surprised how many folks are in the vanilla world. I mean,
and some of them are happy there, but I feel like a lot of them aren't, and they just don't know how to communicate it.
well, there's a lot of shame, I think,
Yeah.
that keeps them in the vanilla. Oh, I could never try that. Well, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Right.
If you're curious, or if someone's like, maybe.
Yeah, go play and experiment a little bit. Even having a conversation with a gal, trying to encourage her to, well, at least let's try some hot and cold, and bring
Yeah.
that in, or different textures or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm not a whore.
Yeah, you can do this, and your body will like it if you do this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they'll come back and report, "Oh, that was kind of fun." Okay, there we go.
Yeah. One of the last questions I have for you is, and I don't want to dedicate the question to men, but I feel like just for the safety of all of humankind, just with the articles, the news and everything, the way it is, I do think men have, there's such a giant chunk of men that have this toxic shame that makes them behave in a way that's just, and it's so many. There's the Rape Academy article on CNN.
I
was
couldn't
just
believe that.
I wasn't shocked. And that was the most shocking part. Like, I'm like, I was disgusted and repulsed, and but for a man, it is so weak for a man to think that he can only get sexual satisfaction from a woman who is incapacitated. It's pathetic and it's weak. And to me, that says that's just a mirror of how he thinks of himself. Because I'm just so curious about what goes on in the male mind of the men who watch that, who perpetrate it, who do it to their wives, all that stuff. And it does seem like there's a block, like a cinder block of shame in them. How do you even begin to chisel at that? Like, we have male listeners. We have a lot of male listeners. I would like to think they're better than that kind of guy. Right. But because they're curious about themselves. But like, how would you suggest a man even begin chipping away at that shame block?
That is such a perverted, sick thing to do to someone who trusts you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about that.
So we can't trust a first date. We can't trust our husband. We can't trust, like, it's just, if we look at the news.
Yeah. I have in my career worked with sexual offenders.
Oh, fascinating.
Well, it really took some.
Chutzpah.
Well, it took some. You got to be self-aware because I don't want to. I mean, the last thing I want to do is shame someone that I'm in session with.
Sure.
I got to hold space for them and where they come from, and I had to do a lot of deep digging to allow myself that. I have found, and I don't know about these men, but that is a sexual offense. That's a perversion to do that. Someone that trusts you. This is a trust thing. A lot of the sex offenders I worked with had horrible things happen to them.
Sure.
Okay.
Now I cannot speak for these men because think about it.
I would assume that is the case because why else would you do something like that?
I also have worked with, and I'm talking about little ones that were perpetrating on other children, and the parents are going, "What the hell's going on with this?"
Yeah.
Well, dad's watching porn, and the kid is watching the porn, and so they've been exposed to things that their little brain is not quite ready to be exposed to, so they're acting on it. So, and think about all the things that we have right at our fingertips that I know in the '60s we didn't.
Right.
I mean, go dig for those Playboys. They were
You met in the woods at a certain spot and lifted up a log.
But now there's a lot of really perverted things that are just at a finger touch away. So you just wonder what these guys have been exposed to.
Right.
That lit that part of their brain up. They're like, let me try this. I mean, because that's a gross distrust.
That they seem to get off on, and which is so. I don't understand. Did you notice a common denominator in the sexual offenders that you worked with of any kind? Like trauma early on,
Feeling powerless in their lives, I would guess. Feeling powerless in their lives, I would guess.
Yes, because that's very much what happens when they were perpetrated against. And if it was a male perpetrating the boy, that's
a mind fuck in a way that
an absolute mind fuck
is specific to masculinity, and that's where like the damaging patriarchal masculinity it does the service to men blanket. But like when a boy is like 13, 14 or a child and he gets molested, that is like, I think boys have a harder time. No one has an easy time with it, but like on top of the fact that you were violated in such a terrible way, you also have this social expectation of masculinity to uphold in spite of all that. And that my heart goes out to them. But there's a lot of men that experience that and don't do anything. So
that's
it's like,
right.
Why do the men who act, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, and I think it goes back to what we talked about genetically. What's their DNA? What's their
level of resilience?
What was the level of resilience? How big was that? Was it a giant T trauma or was it little T trauma? I mean, so many things go into it. And that's what I found with the sexual offenders. There wasn't just one clear pattern, if you will, except that somewhere they had been offended, somewhere they had been perpetrated against.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But my gut would be these guys, that something grabbed their attention and really fucked up what they think a trusting relationship looks like.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and two, like if you look at like the toxic masculinity, it's men are raised to believe they are entitled to a woman. So when they can't get a date because they're a fucking loser because they act like they're entitled to a woman, so no one wants to fuck them, then they go, well, okay, well I'm gonna get what's mine somewhere else, or I'm gonna watch someone do that in a way that's like this, the opposite, just such an abuse of power.
What's that called where they give it saltpeter? Where
what?
No, that pill you take that your dick doesn't work.
Oh wait, there's a pill to make your dick not work?
I believe.
What's it called? That was just cocaine.
Am I making that up, Kelly? Oh, maybe it's cocaine.
Who knows?
Now I believe there's something that you can give someone where their dick doesn't work.
Well, I know my friend was a massage,
like a pedophilic like repellent kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've maybe heard about this. Like it's like I don't think do we do it in America though? I mean,
I don't know.
I feel like other countries are a little bigger on like doing things to stop the dick from working.
Yeah, well,
good for them.
I feel like that's something that maybe we should look into for this situation.
Yeah.
It just but I was on a podcast the other day and we were talking about this and she told me about the CNN story and the very first thing was, my God, that's trust. A woman, when you break trust, I mean, that's such a deep wound.
Yeah.
Deep wound.
And do you think these men can be rehabilitated?
I hope so. I would hope so.
I want I want them to be able to, of course. Like obviously my choice would be yes if I could have a magic wand, but
But can you imagine being her and wanting to stay with him?
no, but that
After-
does happen. Whew, that does happen. But yeah, no, I
just-
mean, can a man find himself again after he's done something so vile? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, to be in this field, I have to believe in change.
Sure.
And I have to believe that there is hope for change, but that's a deep wound. Mm-hmm. That's a
Yeah.
deep wound.
Yeah. So your new book. So we'll end with something. What's it called? Where can we get it? Where can we find you? What else do you want to promote? You said you had podcasts.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yes, I have 2 podcasts, Compassion Fatigue Cure for the burnout side of things. It's the same coin, 2 different sides.
Yeah.
And then Are We Going to Have Sex or What? Once you're not feeling so burned out and you're ready to plug back into desire, that book is available. Or the book is available. Oh my God. Sexy After 50 is the podcast.
Gotcha. Sex After Fit.
Are We
Awesome.
Going to Have Sex or What is the book.
Amazing.
And my website, juliemerrimanphd.com. All the books are on there. My podcasts are on there.
Nice.
And I've got some freebies
Nice.
as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been such a great conversation.
Thank you
y'all.
for being here.
Yeah.
This has been GWF. We'll talk to you next Friday. Thanks. Bye.